Oh, we're live.
Oh, hey,
there we go.
Look at that. Hey, what's up, everybody?
Messed a
Is
lot of
there
stuff
anybody
up.
here?
There's nobody there.
There's
but
nobody.
this will go on the channel, so it doesn't matter.
It doesn't
This
matter.
doesn't matter. We have nothing prepared tonight.
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing prepared, but we're gonna have my aunt on later on,
That's right.
and she's gonna go over some of our family history with the weird and strange and unusual. So that'll be exciting. But that'll be a little bit later.
Yeah.
Terry and I are gonna catch up a little bit here because we haven't seen each other in quite a while. How you doing, Terry?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you doing, Sean?
Doing fantastic. Matter of fact, just enjoyed this weekend. It was a no drinking until my birthday, which is in May
Yeah.
thing, but
And
that got ruined tonight because Terry came over.
Yeah, we have to celebrate the first live.
Yeah, this is our first live, which will be a ton of fun. I hope.
Yep. Yeah.
Terry-
I was just looking.
Terry doesn't know how because he's old.
I am old.
He doesn't know how technology works. So he's like, oh yeah.
I just saw a yellow box.
Dude, just play it. Just play it off. Just pretend that's not a yellow box. That's our name. That's our name. What were you doing just now? Did you just?
I had to zip up my pants.
Why? Why now? We struggled to get live for like the last 10 minutes. You had all the time in the world to do
Because I
that,
didn't realize until just now.
and you couldn't have waited till anyway. Yeah. So you're anyway.
What's up?
Yeah. So we'll call my aunt later on tonight. We have some bad news for people who care. Probably nobody, because nobody's even watching us live right now. And maybe one of our 68 followers care about this, but
show up.
we're not able to make it to Falk Fest now.
No.
Unfortunately,
one of our friends decided to get married during that weekend.
Yeah, dude. Like, what?
An Australian sack of something.
Reschedule the wedding
I know.
at this point.
It's ridiculous. He's had at least 2 years?
2 years.
2 years.
2 years, dude. You wait till when we finally start getting our YouTube channel.
Calling you out, Nick.
Yeah, Nick. I'd throw last names out there, but
No,
I don't want to do that because it's the internet and people might be like, "Hey, I'm really upset
let me look this person up."
Yeah, and I'm really upset about this because I'm one of their 68 followers, and I'm gonna do some damage.
I want to fight because I was looking forward to Falk.
Yep, Falk. Yeah,
It's like you pronouncing a flare the entire time on the last video.
This is not about me, buddy. This is about you. It's about you and pronouncing Falk, which is O-U.
It would be pretty good though if it was a flare and every time you turned it on, it just went woo.
Yeah, but we're not able to make it this year, which is kind of disappointing. We were going to bring Hayden with us.
Yeah,
Terry's son, take him out and about, and then hook up with a lot of people. This might be the best Falk Fest.
Yeah, there was going to be a ton of people there.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot more people there. The
2-day thing,
right? And the last couple times we went weren't too bad. The first time we went was during the pandemic.
Yeah, they had to move everything to Texarkana,
and everything was like social distance, and not a lot of people were there anyway. I mean, there was like the usual heavy hitters, like I think Gerhard was there, Blackburn was there,
the guy from the Wood Ape.
I can't remember who that is.
He wears that backwards Justin Timberlake little 1930s hat. He told the same story that he told when we were at Falk.
Oh, the guy with the beard.
Yeah,
that's right. Man, I wish I remembered his name. He deserves me to remember his name. I'm so sorry.
Can't remember
your name, but I remember.
He told great stories.
Dude, if I saw his face in Walmart, I'd be like, "Hey, you're that guy that I can't remember
the Wood Ape.
Yeah, you're the Wood Ape guy. Yeah."
What was it? Area X.
Well, everybody calls their secret spot Area X.
Well, I think they were the first.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who calls it the first. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, we are. We're. Oh, you know what I didn't think of, dude?
What's that?
I didn't think of if the YouTube Live records the desktop audio.
So we could just be sitting here moving our mouths.
No, it's recording the mic. When I say desktop audio, it's calling my aunt.
Oh,
here, let's do it. Let's do a test. We'll do it live on
right.
here. I'm gonna call you.
Do I need to go to another room so we don't have echo? Or
go to another room. Right. I'm gonna call you. We were having issues with OBS for some reason, and I didn't do any test streams, so we just moved to YouTube. So I'm going to see if I can get desktop audio on here. Hopefully I can. There's nobody in the live chat, so it doesn't matter. All right, Terry, hang on, buddy. I didn't think about that because we're gonna call my aunt here in a little bit. She's gonna clarify some stuff that happened in our family, all the weird stuff. So, okay. Oh,
Hey.
I can hear you, but I don't know if the stream can hear you. There seems to be an echo. Going to, yeah. Well, you're gone, so I can't hear there if there's an echo. Is there an echo in your thing? Hey, you didn't close the door all the way. The cat's gonna get out. The black one. Yeah. Pull that shut. I don't want that little. You don't hear any echo? Okay, so you don't hear like the microphone is not going, the speaker's not going into the microphone. It's desktop audio we're recording. No, anyway. All right. Hey, you know what? No. You put your phone down. You come in here, and I'm gonna go out there, and then you talk to me. Then because I'm more inclined to this stuff than you are. So you come in here. Leave your phone. No, give me the phone. Yeah, I can hear you. No echo. I can do that. I know, everybody. Hey, look at this. I gotta remember to always look at the camera. All right, do I need to hang up this phone? All right. Stay right. I wasn't moving. All right. I need a green one. All right. Let me see. You stay right here. Well, there's. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. As soon as you go outside, so if she's not in the house, then. Something. Ooh, there was an echo on that. I heard an echo. It was a delay. Yeah, I'm hearing me. It's a delay. All right, folks, isn't this fun? All right, so you can't hear the desktop audio on the YouTube. Here's your phone. So how do we get desktop audio on YouTube? We're only 8 minutes in.
We have a comment too.
Your house is creepy alone. It's not. This isn't the same house, Jorge. That house was next door. Jorge, this is Terry. Terry, this is Jorge.
Hey, Jorge.
Jorge George used to be a good friend of Danny's, but they had a falling out. I don't remember what it was about, but it wasn't good. So
probably Danny being Danny.
Jorge, bear with us here. We're trying to figure this out. We were using a different streaming device, and we have to use YouTube now. Record or
they don't make it easy.
Desktop audio on YouTube Live.
So we're doing a live tutorial on how to record on YouTube. And I also like to take this time. If anybody in Jane Goodall's family saw our first long form video, just again, I want to apologize.
Yeah, we didn't even have to bring it up, dude. They probably forgot all about that. If they've seen it.
I'm trying to show that I'm sincere.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god, there's no like desktop audio for YouTube.
So we're not going to be able to.
We might be able to do this. I'm trying to figure out how. Trying to figure out how to do this because there might be an echo.
Steve says he's not seeing anything.
He has to go to the. He has to re-go. He has to like exit out and then go back to the live. Trying to think about how we do this. Sorry, Jorge. I use this streaming. I don't want to keep calling you Jorge, George. I have this streaming program called OBS, which I use when I was streaming video games, and it can record desktop audio. But when we were trying to go live for YouTube, it wouldn't let us. So I was like, you know what? We'll just go live from YouTube itself. But it can't record desktop audio because I want to call my aunt and interview her. But let's see here. Let's see. Pop out dashboard. See if this tells us what to do. Nope. That's not what I want. Exit out of that. What the heck, dude? Because I want to do YouTube. YouTube Live would just be us like talking like we did last time. You need to call my aunt. But if I do it to where we call her, maybe I can still call her.
What if we just
speakerphone? It'll be, you know what I can do? I got an idea.
What's that?
No, not on speakerphone because it'll just echo. Wait, maybe.
Yeah, Steve said he did that several times and he's still not seeing it. So I don't know what he's doing wrong.
Let's Jorge, we're gonna end stream real quick.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. We'll try to figure this
out. We're gonna figure this out. We'll be right back to our 2 viewers. It says
2 viewers.
It says 3.
3.
No, 2 likes, 3 viewers.
Hey, look at that.
So we'll figure it out. All right. Oh, Brooks. Hey, Brooks. Hey.
I don't know who you are.
We're having some technical difficulties. She's from the Abnormal Investigations
okay.
family. So, hey, Brooks, we're having some technical difficulties. I'm going to end the stream.
Well, apparently not everybody is. Oh, there's my brother.
Oh, there he is. He's back.
Never mind.
But no,
look at this, man. It's like bam, bam, bam.
The big technical difficulty is trying to, because the whole point tonight is to call my aunt and her talk about what happened with her and my uncles and my mother when they were kids in Missouri and all that crazy stuff that went down. But I'm trying to we have to get.
You can't call her on your just regular phone, not Facebook.
I mean, I can.
And then just use the speakerphone.
Here, while everybody's here, we're gonna do this right now. You go to another room. I'm gonna call you, and we'll see if there's an echo. All right, everybody, let us know if there's an echo. This is again. We were using a different program called OBS. That's what I used to stream video games with. And it wouldn't, for some reason, it kept giving us an error with YouTube. It wouldn't let us go live. So instead of, YouTubing the issue, I was like, you know what, let's just go live with YouTube. Figured out, couldn't call, or it couldn't record desktop audio. So here we are. Trying to troubleshoot this live. All right, I'm going to call Terry, and we're going to see how this goes. Got to find Terry's name in here. I got it underneath different things every other time. Okay. I'm going to put him on speaker. I'm putting him next to the microphone. Y'all let me know if you hear echoes and stuff, okay?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine.
I have no echo on my end.
What about stream? What about you guys? Is that too loud? Can you hear just fine? What's going on? I'm asking people in the stream.
Give us a thumbs up.
No echo. Sounds good. Okay, cool. All right, we'll call my aunt here in about 8 minutes.
Terry,
right.
big brain on Terry.
This is yeah. That's why you get paid the big bucks, Terry. Brooks, I'm glad you're here. So good to see you. Sorry for our ghetto way of doing things over here, but anyway. All right. So I guess while I have you guys here for the time being, I'll tell you that what we're hoping to do, what we're hoping to accomplish is we have some unorthodox ways of like what we think is unorthodox ways of finding Bigfoot. We have some good ideas, but I can't disclose that to you because I don't want people stealing my idea or ideas, our ideas. They're great. They're great. One of them we were going to do in Arkansas next month, but we're not going now because Terry has a wedding, and I'm not gonna drive all the way out to Falk by myself, and I don't want to pay the gas. I have an SUV. That's too much gas. I'm not gonna drive all the way out there. So instead of doing that, we're gonna just wait. Hopefully, go to the Jefferson Bigfoot conference. But in the meantime, I have a couple people I've been talking to for the last year and a half. One guy has some weird stuff happening on his property in his backyard. He told me I met this dude at a bar. Go figure, right? He said that at the end of his property, there's constant wailing, like a woman's in pain or something. And he says it happens almost nearly every night. And his animals will go to the end of the property and just look that way. And he said he's gone out to go see what it is. And when he gets to where it sounds like it's happening, the vocals stop. There's no wailing, there's no crying, there's no moaning, nothing like that. He said he's felt like he's being watched sometimes. He'll go outside, just feel like he's just under constant surveillance out there. And this is a property not too far from where I live. Then there's another guy I met. He had a Bigfoot experience where I believe me and my friends had a Bigfoot experience, again, not far from where I live right now, which is in Fort Worth, Texas. And if you look at Fort Worth, Texas on a map, it's not by any means rural or heavy woods or anything like that. And then there's another guy not far from here as well. He believes he has Dogman, everybody's favorite Dogman activity on his property. He's not really warmed up to me coming out there to his property yet. He wants to, talk about it a little bit more, and maybe even have him on the show and discuss what he's experiencing before Terry and I go out there to do an investigation. But I'm looking really forward to doing that because this dude, I mean, he has a print like it's bigger than my hand. If it looks like a dog print this big. I mean, dogs get big. I've been around some big dogs in my time, but nothing that has a handprint this big, a dog print that big. That's absolutely insane to me. So we can look forward to that. In the meantime, I don't know if that's going to happen between now and what would be April 27th was when we would go to the Falk Fest, but we'll get to that when we get there. But I'm not sure where Terry went. Terry went to go do that thing, and he still hasn't come back yet. I don't know where he's at. Probably took a detour to the restroom or something like that. But we'll get my aunt on the phone here in just a little bit. It's only 8:26. I told her about 8:30. Give her a call and interview her and see what's going on. Let me go over here real quick. Check if there's any news between my aunt. No, nothing. Oh, what the heck? It's Bigfoot. Bigfoot's
Hello,
here.
guys. How's everybody doing?
Oh my God, it's Bigfoot, everybody. He's a lot smaller. Hey, dude, your hands are a lot smaller than I thought. Thyroid problem. No, your feet are smaller. You don't even have big feet.
Actually, these are the normal things. The ones that have the big feet, we're scared of them too.
Well, that doesn't make sense to me because if all of them are Bigfoot and you're just the smallest, then you're not the normal one. That's crazy. Terry's missing this right now.
Oh, no, I saw him. He went to go get some smokes.
Shit. I think Bigfoot. I think Terry left my door open. Can you go shut that door so the black cat doesn't get out?
I sure can.
I think the black cat already got out. Bigfoot. God damn it!
I'll go chase him later.
God.
Actually, if I'm remembering correctly, you were the last one outside the door, Sean.
I think I was Bigfoot. I don't know.
That's what Terry was telling me as he was on his way to the store.
Oh, is that where he went?
Yes, he went to the store.
I was wondering where he went.
He went to go get some smokes.
Oh yeah, he does smoke.
Don't mind this. It's a little what's that thing where people lose their hair? Propecia,
like yeah. It's just on your chin. That's crazy.
It is. It's things happen in the woods. It's really weird.
That is weird. You know what's weird is also like.
So you don't have to call me Bigfoot. My name's Sam.
Sam. Nice to meet you, Sam. You would think that this seems like a pre-staged event, and we would have something written down for this moment.
I got abs.
I have no direction to take this.
New me. Or new year, new me.
Are these abs or is this a chest?
Those are my chest hairs, man. The women like the shaved chest, is what I hear.
They seem to like that. Yeah, I guess.
I don't have nipples, though. That's the one thing most people don't know about Bigfoot. No nipples. And look, primordial pouch.
Look at that primordial pouch right there. This is crazy to me. I can't believe Bigfoot's Sam's in my house.
Yeah, Sam, thank you very much.
Sam's in my
Bigfoot's way
house.
too
This is the
big.
craziest thing ever, dude. I cannot believe this.
I know.
And only
So
for
how's the live thing? I heard through the grapevine
we're
that
having
you guys were having some issues.
we're having some technical difficulties right now. Yeah, so
And you know why I sound like Terry?
I didn't even think twice about it, dude.
It's because we mimic.
Mimic.
Yes,
You
that's
mimic.
because we mimic
You
stuff.
mimic. How long did you how did you know we were here even doing this?
Oh, dude, we saw y'all in Falk. There was a
Oh,
bunch of us.
Falk.
We saw y'all.
You even say it like Terry. That's the craziest.
I'm mimic again.
You know what?
Mimic.
You're from there. Maybe you know how to
Hey,
say
you know
it.
what?
And I don't. I'm from Texas. So
Let's just use our imagination. Just use your imagination.
sure, I'll use my imagination.
So, anyways, we saw y'all walking
Red
around.
circle. Okay. Oh yeah.
We saw y'all walking around. And again, you need to tell Terry the tan hat
Yeah.
in deer season.
Get them shot.
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
get 'em
That's
shot
probably not
really
the best
quick.
idea. Okay.
But anyway, so we saw y'all in Falk.
Falk. Yeah. I
Falk.
feel like yeah.
So anyway, so we saw y'all, and we figured at one point in time you're probably going to do some live stuff, and then stuff trickles down,
Yeah.
and then we subscribe to your channel too.
Oh, that's
I don't
great,
know.
dude.
Yeah,
You're one of our
yeah.
68 subscribers.
Yeah, we all. Oh, dude,
That's
y'all's
fantastic,
first little
man.
long chat,
Yeah.
man, that was awesome.
Hey, I appreciate that.
You
know,
need
I
to tell
really do.
Terry to lay off Jane Goodall. She's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
good, good woman.
she's a good woman.
Good woman.
Does not have sex with chimpanzees.
No, she doesn't. And she doesn't
I don't know.
stink. She smells like potpourri.
I don't think anybody said she smelled it in that live stream.
Oh, Terry did. He said
Oh,
she
I don't
stunk.
remember.
It was after he apologized.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, hopefully we don't get sued.
No. We've already talked to the authorities, the
Okay.
higher ups.
Because the process server was at my door. I was like, I'm not answering the door.
Yeah.
I figured that's what it was about. So
Yeah. So anyway,
Okay.
oh, he's got a Bud Light. Look at that.
He
Bigfoot's
does.
like Bud Light.
Yeah. Oh, see, Bigfoot's like Bud Light, not Miller Light, not Coors.
That's right.
Well, Bigfoot, I hate to be the bearer of bad news
Yeah,
here, but it's
do I gotta
8:30.
go?
I gotta call my aunt.
I gotta go.
Yeah,
All right.
dude.
Well, it's good to see everybody.
Yeah, cloak on
I'm
out
gonna
here.
go on back to Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A. That's where he's at. That's where he hangs out.
It's God's sandwich.
Yeah.
Goodbye, everybody.
Hey, George was knowing what's your favorite Slim Jim on your way out?
We do not like what's the
You don't know Slim Jims?
I know Slim Jims, but it's not Slim Jims. It's the other beef jerky one. Slim Jims is the one we like.
Jack's?
We don't like the
Jack's.
Jacks. Yeah, we don't like
No, you like Jack's. You don't like Slim Jims.
No, see, that's a fallacy.
Oh,
That's a fallacy.
well, Jack's is
That's
the
the
one.
man trying to push Jack's links on us.
Oh,
Bigfoot likes Slim Jims.
Slim Jims. Oh, I see.
Slim Jims.
That's
Dig
the-
in, people. Primordial pouch.
That's more of the government trying to influence. All right, you get out of here. Get out of here, Bigfoot.
See you, Danny.
Get out of here, Sam. Whatever your name is.
Sam, that's right.
All right. Sorry about that, everybody. I didn't realize that was going to happen. And you would think, that like seeing that, you'd probably be like, oh yeah, they planned for this to happen. They would probably have like a skit or some type of direction written down to like take that somewhere instead of just trying to wing it like it just happened. But no. You never know when Bigfoot's going to show up. That's the surprise of it all. It happens when you least expect it. All right. So everyone, I'm going to call my aunt here. Bear with me for just a second. And let me tell
Hey,
her.
Sam, how's it going?
Oh.
Well, it's going pretty good, Terry. How you been? Oh, it's been good. Did you go talk to Sean? Sure did. All right, well, see you later.
Looks like they ran into each other in the hall of my house. So
Slam. That was the door.
the door just slammed. I guess he's out of here. All right. All right. Put my phone up here in the ghetto fashion next to the microphone of the thing.
Hello.
Aunt Barb, can you hear me?
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How you doing, honey?
Doing okay. We had some technical difficulties a little earlier, so we are. I think we're looking good now. As long
What
as
did
you
I
don't-
miss?
Aunt Barb, this is Terry. Terry, this is Aunt Barb. You didn't miss anything.
Hello.
You didn't miss anything. Nothing.
Hello.
So Aunt Barb,
We have a guest.
yeah, my Aunt Barb.
I'm the guest.
Yeah.
I'm on a podcast.
Yeah, well, we're filming our Bigfoot, our first ever live Bigfoot show or whatever.
You're our first ever guest.
Yeah, our first ever guest. Maybe our last because we
Well,
might-
no, we just had Sam.
Oh.
Bigfoot.
how do you? Oh yeah, Sam. We had Bigfoot stop by Aunt Barb. He just left though. You just missed him.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure you had experiences with Sam enough when you were a kid with mom and everybody. So the reason why I have you on, I've been telling people stories about your childhood, and I think I'm getting some details wrong on a lot of them.
Yeah.
You know,
Apparently he is.
as you can see, when it came to our genealogy, you know how stories can be.
Yes, I'm learning now. Yeah, we're not related to as many people as I thought that we were.
Correct.
And also, I'm learning now that there were weird things have happened, but maybe I'm misremembering who they happened to and when. So, if you don't mind, real quickly, could you tell everybody where the weird stuff started that you can remember? Because you've always been kind of your house was haunted, and you denied that it was, and it was undoubtedly haunted. She's always been kind of skeptical.
We grew up in a haunted house. It was our house in Clarksville was very haunted, but that's not what we're talking about today. So go ahead.
We're talking about Clarksville, Missouri, correct?
Yeah, Clarksville, Missouri. Yes.
And so, what was from what I'm understanding, the first time that you guys had a haunted experience was after you played with the Ouija board, or was the house already haunted and it made everybody want to play with the Ouija board?
You know, it was haunted the first day we moved in.
Okay.
The first day we moved in, we knew we had a ghost.
A ghost.
I was born in 1969. We moved into Clarksville in 1970-71. And I remember. I have a very good memory when it comes to my childhood. I mean, you'd be surprised what I can remember, Sean.
No, I don't doubt it. That's why I've always went to you about, okay, I heard this story. Am I forgetting it? Did Mom or did Uncle Ron, did Uncle Frank get some details mixed up? That's why I went to you directly to kind of clear some air here, because I'm going around telling everybody certain things that have happened that may have happened, but not to anybody that I know or anybody in the family.
Okay, well, I'll tell you when it all started.
Okay.
It started back in 1972, 73. It might have been, a year, give or take a year. I was young. But it started out in Louisiana, Missouri. There was some sightings out there. Of course, it made the news, it made the radio and all that. So, you knew about Bigfoot through the 1950s, the actual Bigfoot photo of him walking through the little creek, right? You remember that?
Yeah, Patty.
So, so all that kind of like made everybody go crazy in the 70s up in Louisiana and Clarksville. But there was stuff going on that people were seeing this creature, this so-called creature, whether it was real or not, at the time. I do believe it was, because we all had our experiences, and there's one thing that I can say for sure. Well, actually, there's more than one thing. Let me go back. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be
No, you're good.
Oh,
confused.
it's going much smoother than what we originally had.
Yeah.
Right.
You're 3 minutes in already. The best thing about the stream.
Yes,
so
exactly.
But in the 1970s, when you're kids, everything, you're hyped up. It's scary, and that's when all the Bigfoot movies came out, the documentaries and all that stuff. So my mom, who just loved the story, she wanted to go out Bigfoot hunting. We were out driving around a car in Louisiana. There were so many people that were back then.
And by Louisiana, you mean Louisiana, Missouri?
Louisiana, Missouri. Yes. If you look up the history, look up Bigfoot, the Momo Monster, the Missouri Momo Monster. And they actually made a movie in 2016-18 depicting the story of what went on in Louisiana, Missouri during that time.
I think I've watched it.
Might have, yeah.
Right. Right. So, in Clarksville, where we lived at, we lived on a bluff. We lived right up on the bluff next to the highest point off the Mississippi, which is 600 feet above sea level. Look it up. You'll see that I'm correct on that. 600 feet is the highest point of the Mississippi. Right there. And we as kids, as Gen X, we went out and did whatever we wanted. We used to go climbing up on the rocks. Hell, we didn't have no rope. I remember my mother going along one time, and she was horrified about the stuff that we were doing that she didn't know we were doing, because we were out there hanging from cliff rocks.
My Gen X rules.
Right, exactly. And up there is the sky lift. It's like a ski lift that takes you up, and there's like a little town and all that. Like a little western town, and it had like a petting zoo and all that. But it had the tower where you could walk up the tower, and the tower still stands to this day. And it was like you could see eagles. It was all about the eagles. And it still is all about the Eagles in Clarksville. But we used to go up there and play when it was closed during like the fall and Christmas time when it was cold. It was only open during the spring and the summer. So we would go up there and play. We would break through the fence and go up there as kids and run through it. And then we would also go past that. And past that area is a canyon, and you can actually see it by satellite view. It's kind of hard to depict because the trees, if you get a good satellite view, like during springtime, you can actually see. It was a man-made canyon. We called it Taffy Canyon. That's what we called it as kids. We nicknamed it Taffy Canyon, so that's what we refer to it as. We would go up there all the time. And one time we went up there with a bunch of our friends, and we were coming down the hill, which was kind of going, kind of like a dip in the path we were taking to go back up the hill onto the cliff of Taffy Canyon. And right there at the bottom, which was still very far up from the hill, from the fields that were further down to the trees, you couldn't see it, probably a good half mile or more walk, there was a dead cow. And growing up in the country and having brothers and a father and everybody that hunts, you know an animal when it's been attacked by a pack of wolves and all the coyotes or whatever. This cow, his head was completely removed from its socket. A pack of animals cannot remove the head from the socket.
Nope.
My brothers can confirm that. Frankie, Ronnie, Gino was a baby, so he wasn't even involved in that. And half the kids we grew up in Clarksville with, we've seen it. We couldn't explain it. So we wind up going back up the hill, going on the other side of the hill to go up to the canyon, the top of the canyon. And you can look down over the canyon. And we used to be able to just go down there and just grab handful of literally loose fossils. That's how cool this canyon was. It literally had loose fossils by the handful. I remember bringing home a bag full of it. I don't know what happened to it. But anyway, found a footprint up there. And on the footprint, it was a huge footprint, was a piece of hair. We took that hair, and I remember taking it to school, and a bunch of people laughed at us because all of us that were involved said, oh, no, it's fake. There wasn't no Bigfoot. There was a footprint there. It was a fucking human, excuse my language, human footprint. Well, I didn't know if you don't mind me cussing.
No,
I cuss like a
yeah. You cuss all the fucking time. Yeah.
That's right.
Parts of me to contain myself.
Well, so it was just a single footprint, just one.
Just one single footprint because it was like one was on mud and one was on dirt.
Oh, okay.
See what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's the one that stood out. I mean, I don't remember the other. There was another footprint there. I just remember seeing that one. I remember me and Frankie and Ronnie and Sherry, Billy Blackall. We were on the bus with the hair. We had it in an envelope. Everybody made fun of us. But that was one of the things. There's one thing that I have to explain here first because I didn't realize what it was, what I was listening to or hearing at the time. But I had recently been binge watching because I've been sick, all my health problems. I've been binge watching Terror in the Woods. Mm-hmm. And I watched the first season, episode 4. I think it's episode 4. It's called Hunted by Bigfoot. And I recommend you guys watching this episode because, man, it'll freak you the fuck out. Let's just put it that way.
Was that the one with the little boy and his brothers?
And it's excuse me?
Was that the one with the little boy and his brothers?
No, it was just a man, his son, and his best friend.
Oh, okay.
And they decided it happened in Ohio. But anyway, they're recording Bigfoot sounds. The actual sounds that they recorded. Like I said, you got to watch it.
I do remember this one.
Terror in the Woods, or it's also known by a haunted. These woods are haunted.
Yeah.
But it's season 1, episode 4.
Yeah.
Watch it. Anyway, there was a sound on there that they had recorded. And when I heard that sound for the first time, and I'll tell you right now, Sean, I have watched that same episode 10 fucking times. I'm not kidding you, 10 fucking times. Because the first time I heard it, the hair on my arm raised. And Frankie remembers this, and I'll get to my story. One late September afternoon, like more towards the evening, I was laying on the living room floor and watching TV, and Grandpa got up to let Frida out. And when he opened up the door to let the dog out, outside was this, and at the time, all I could describe it as was like, oh, that's the best way I could describe it at the time. It was like a high-pitched sound that just lasted and lasted and lasted. And it would stop and go back up. And I remember my dad standing there, and he goes, hey, Kitty, get in here. Listen to this. And my mom's like, what is that? What is that? And of course, at the time, we chalked it up at that time until I listened to this as a ghost, because we had all kinds of stuff going on there at the time. Mm-hmm. But that sound was actually on that tape, watching it. And it was a high-pitched whistle sound. And it lasted and lasted and lasted. It was the creepiest thing, because I can remember looking out the door and standing there with my dad next to him and listening to the sound. Just the wind was blowing, and you can hear it the leaves kind of rustle, but the sound overtook all that. Whatever it was very close. Very, very close.
Yeah, it sounded probably pretty big as well.
Okay. That was a very, very creepy, that was just very, very creepy. Like I said, when I watched that program and I heard that sound, I immediately called Frankie. I'm like, Frankie, you need to watch it. I'm telling you. And I asked him if he remembered, and he goes, yes, I did. I said, go watch that show. Go watch that episode. You're going to hear what we heard that day. Okay, let's see. The one time we're talking about when it come down to Gus's. Now, Gus, if Gus was alive, Gus could tell some stories, because Gus would talk about, and he would come even when we were living in St. Charles, right before he died, he would come in and tell stories about how he would see a creature, upright creature walking across the gravel road. And don't let me forget, because my brain is like that lately, I'm going to remind you to tell the story about my grandmother. Okay?
Okay.
All right. But anyway, Gus would talk about the sounds, the growling sounds, the high pitch. He said he's never heard a growl like that in his entire life. He said it made the hair on the back of his neck stand up.
And if I remember Gus lived in the sticks. He lived in the woods. One time I remember going over there, he was in the woods.
Well, he was, but he lived on the same road as my grandmother did. He lived on that gravel road in Clarksville that you used to go down to all the time.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
You drive down right outside of Clarksville, right before you start driving in towards Louisiana.
Yeah.
You go off on that gravel road. Anyway, that's where Gus lived. He lived along the creek, and he said he could hear it walking through the creek. He could literally hear it walking through the creek, and the one time that you were referring to about something being dropped on somebody, so I talked to Frankie about that, and Frankie said it was him, Ronnie, and Danny. It was like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and they were walking down that gravel road in the dark, and it's all woods. And I guess they went up on the bridge or whatever, and Ronnie threw a rock down into the water, except it didn't hit the water. It hit something hard, and whatever it hit, it grunted, and then it walked off into the water.
I thought so. I remember the story being someone dropped something off the bridge. It hit whatever was in the water, and it screamed, and they ran and got it. Yeah, again, a lot of these stories I've heard.
No, it was actually what you remember is you were remembering that Danny screamed and ran.
That's probably what it was.
And he did. He ran back home, and he never would go down that road again at night. He wouldn't. Well, he would not go down that road at night.
So not to get too far off from what you were saying, but let's go back to Clarksville. Mom had told me a story where, if I remember the story, is like y'all snuck out to go hang out with friends, and y'all were going up.
Yes.
Y'all were going up the sky lift.
Yes. So this is what we did. Mom and Dad took us for a ride. They used to take us for country rides all the time. And we had happened to find on the road by itself a little dachshund dog. And we picked him up and took the dog home. We nicknamed him Schultzy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we had our bedrooms downstairs in the basement. And of course, we had a door we could walk out of the basement that our parents never knew that we snuck out at night. So we decided that we were going to go walk the dog after midnight up the hill. So we were walking up the hill, and we were coming towards the actual drive entrance into the Skylift. The back entrance, it's the only way into the Skylift unless you take the chairs up. And we were standing there, and we noticed there was a bunch of cars at the very end of the entranceway, and you could see the taillights. And you could hear dogs barking, gunshots going off. The guns were going off. You heard, there he is, get him, bang, bang, bang. And then the dogs were like barking, and then one of the dogs was screaming. It was like, arr, 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 arr. And next thing you heard a guy go, get the fuck out of here, let's get the fuck out of here. And all of a sudden they start getting in the cars, backing up, and they come flying down the road, and they seen us, and they said, you kids, get home right now. They told us, get home.
Was this during the Momo stuff?
Yeah, this was after the Momo stuff.
Okay, so the Momo hysteria has died down.
Yes.
Okay.
This was in the late 70s, early 80s.
Okay.
Yes. So that was the one that I remember. There was a bunch of cars up there, guys with guns and dogs. I'm sorry, they're not hunting the fucking deer. There ain't no coyote. There ain't no mountain lion. I had coyotes. I used to have packs of coyotes in Cottleville where I lived.
Right.
Packs of coyotes.
Yeah.
They don't bother you. You just leave them alone.
Yeah.
So there wasn't no coyote they were shooting at. And like I said, those men were very adamant that we kids get our asses home.
Yeah, and how often does someone get spooked like that from a coyote?
Especially people that have lived out there in their entire life.
Yeah, you got a pack of dogs, and a coyote can hurt a dog.
Well,
don't get me wrong.
I can understand if it's just one person.
Yeah.
But it was several vehicles, and these were trucks, guys with guns, and there was 2 and 3 of them in the vehicles, and there was more than I think there was like 3 or 4 because they all went to different directions. So, but like I said, the one coming down the street, we were coming down, and when you're standing there, it's not very much a street. It's actually a little bitty tiny like alleyway. Mm-hmm. It's a gravel road that goes up to the back part of the and there's 2 homes in between.
Right.
So it's not like these people up there that live there. They heard all this. They heard all this shit. They know all this. See, there is a cave up there that my mom said is up there, and it is up there because it's a known fact, but people haven't been able to find it except for some hunters and the people who own the land. But apparently there is a big cave up there on the other side that actually you can drive a full semi in. It's that big.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's part of the rock quarry. That's what I'm going to assume.
Yeah, they converted some of those caves into like storage places as well for businesses and stuff.
Right, but this cave is, like I said, alongside. This is Clarksville. It's about 600 feet above sea level, highest point in the Mississippi, and that's all rock up there. And if you drive down, if you get on satellite view and go down to street view, you can actually drive up that. You can actually drive up it with the Google, and you can look at the rock formations, and you can actually find the big, giant, gaping hole that's been there for years. I don't know if you ever seen that when you were up there as a kid or not, but there's a big, giant gaping hole right there. Okay, that's at the lower level. That's at the lower level where the larger rocks are at. It's still too high for us to get to. Now, there's a second level at the top that goes there's the tree line that goes up to the ridge, which is another rock part, and you go up and you're right there at the very top part of the cliff, but you're down below on the rock side. And we climbed that as kids. We used to climb that as a kid. We used to get old antique traps from people who used to go trapping up there. I mean, these traps were like from the 1800s. That's how old it was. But there are many, many caves up there.
Oh yeah,
many.
Sure. Yeah. I heard about there being like a giant cave system up there that some are unexplored, some are used for storage facilities. Even to this day, they still use them for natural because they stay the same temperature all
Yeah.
year round, so they just keep stuff in there. But I found that more recently. I had no idea. When we went, we didn't. I saw y'all's old house. I saw the river, and it was they're on a steep hill. I saw the sky lift. I mean, it was like pretty much a house on a hill like this. River Mississippi is down here. Then the sky lift was way up there. But and that whole town looked creepy. And it wouldn't surprise me these people were still experiencing this stuff even today.
Yeah,
it's just right there next to the woods. Right there.
You'd be surprised about that town, though. See, what people don't really realize about that town, it's when I was living there, it was not even 500 people. Now, back in 1923, there was almost 3,000 people.
Oh, so people let. I asked you if you remember. You probably don't remember. There was a guy I was listening to on another show where the way he described it, it sounded like he grew up in the same place that you and Mom did. And he said that it was an entire town disappeared. Not disappeared, left, moved, whatever. Like this town was like abandoned. And
it's everywhere. You need to really look up abandoned towns. You really need to look that up because you'll be surprised to see what you find. But yes, Clarksville was very huge. It was a river town.
Yeah, because
it was an town.
Yeah, people
had opera and everything. There's pictures on it. If you go up to the group, I grew up in Clarksville, Lynn. Mm-hmm. You can find a majority of those pictures on there.
This lady at my work, she grew up north of Clarksville, and she would say that people would hop on the riverboat, go up north, eat there, go up a little further north. Hannibal, and I don't know if I can't remember exactly where, but she grew up. She described almost the same stuff that you and Mom did. I wouldn't be surprised if you guys knew each other back when y'all were in kids in high school, or maybe rival high schools or something like that. But anyway,
see Bowling Green. There's Bowling Green. There's Louisiana. There's Bowling Green, Louisiana. There's Hannibal.
Mm-hmm.
So what people don't realize also too that they're back in the day. How old is this friend of yours?
She's old. She's probably about Mom's age, your age. I don't know.
Okay, well,
ancient.
Oh, she's old.
Pretty ancient. She's pretty
in the 50s.
She's got to be. She's probably like at least in her 40s. She's old as shit. No, no, she was probably a little bit older than Mom, maybe by a couple of years.
Right.
You're the second youngest, right?
I'm sorry. I know. I am.
Yeah, it's Gino. I am the
fourth young. I'm number 4.
Okay, so
Connie, Sherry, Frankie, me, and Gino.
Oh yeah, see, yeah. You're still on the young side of being old, so you're good.
Yeah, I was the baby until Gino ruined it all.
Yeah, of course. Go figure that guy. So, and it's got to be a boy. It can't be another girl. It's got to be a little boy to be the treasured one. But
yeah.
Did you have one of those too, Terry? Anyway, Aunt Barb. So to go back to some of the experiences you had growing up, where Uncle Ron told me a story where he was, I guess Grandpa used to be, and this is something else I need clarification on here, because when Uncle Ron came up here and he was telling Crystal about all this stuff, he, we were drinking, so maybe he was even mixing some stuff up, but he had said one night, I guess Grandpa used to be like the town guy you would call when you have like a prowler or a wild animal on your property, so you would run him off. And Grandpa was that guy, right?
Well, I can tell you an incident where a phone somebody called him about. It was your mother,
right?
Your mom was taking care of an older lady on the same road that Gus lives on, the same road that my grandmother lives on that road outside of Clarksville. And she was, she's an elderly lady in a little old house. Her name was May Mosbacher. And May Mosbacher had a garage with kind of like a little living area inside. But right next to it was a trash can. And I'll never forget, it was probably about 7, 8 o'clock at night. It was dark. And I'm going to say it was the winter time. Your mom called. And she was screaming and crying on the phone, telling Dad that there was something big and hairy digging in the trash can at May Mosbacher's. And it's scaring her. And Dad goes, "Oh, it's probably a bear." And you know how your mom is. You know how when she gets upset, she starts screaming, "There ain't no goddamn bear! Get out of here!" You know. But I'm surprised your mom didn't tell you that story. About.
She told me a lot, but she never told me about that. When you told me that the other day, I was like, I have to have you on and just give you a call because I need some clarification. Mom never told me about that.
That just surprises me.
Yeah, that was out of all the ones that
she
had told me some even crazier ones than that, and that's a scary one. How old was she when that happened?
She was probably about 15, 16. Hell, she might have been 17.
Yeah, see, she didn't say anything about that.
Yeah, she was a teenager. She was old enough to babysit and take care of an elderly person. So yeah,
right. Which ironically became like her job eventually, which is I guess her calling was to take care of elderly people. I guess I don't know, but yeah, she never told me that, which was the crazy thing. Yeah, dude, keeps following, keeps seeing them.
Did she tell you about the hunting trips we used to take with our dad?
Yes, and I guess did Grandma go one where y'all had not chihuahuas but wiener dogs, and they were freaking out. And anyway, go ahead.
Well, Dad and the boys and John Lynch, who was my boyfriend at the time. Me and your mom dated the same guy, believe it or not, twice. But anyway, we were out hunting, trapping in the middle of the night. Whatever the hell we were doing, I don't remember. I was young. I just know that we were out there hunting something, you know, whether it was traps.
I was ex-boyfriend.
Yeah, barely said it.
Yeah. Anyway, there would be, we would sit down and like build a little fire, sit down and talk and rest, or be quiet, you know, listening or whatever. And there would be footprints, foot sounds. You could hear something walking through the woods. And it wasn't something with 4 feet. And you know what an animal sounds like with 4 feet.
You can tell 2 feet from.
You have that trip trop when it comes. Yeah. This was step, and it was heavy steps. Couldn't see it at all, but you could hear it, and you can smell it. The smell, the stink that came from it is the worst.
What would you describe it like?
I would say not so much skunky, not like a skunk, but almost like a dirty, nasty smelling. I don't know if anybody ever had a dog that would roll over in something dead.
Oh yeah. Yep. Oh yeah.
You know, that's what animals do. Dogs do that to mark their territory. They roll over. It, almost as bad as that.
Oh God, no.
But it's like a pungent smell. It's like a musky smell. It's almost kind of. I hate to say this, you can almost taste it. That's how bad it is.
Yeah, I've heard that before. Was it making your eyes water almost, like stinging your nose?
Oh, I can't say I can remember making my eyes water, but you can smell it. Mm-hmm. You can smell it. Lots of things that over the years that I learned, especially getting older and paying attention to shit, because after a while, when that stuff died down, you never even thought about it again. Mm-hmm. But then all these Bigfoot shows start popping up, and and then you start watching, and you start getting interested, because I really wasn't a real full believer, and I have to say that I am now.
I'm gonna say, even after all that, you still weren't a believer.
Well, people don't believe in ghosts, but I know I seen a ghost. See, that's the thing is, I know I have actually seen a ghost, so I know what a ghost looks like. I have never fucking seen Bigfoot.
Yeah, but but think about this. Like, that ghost is like translucent. You can probably reach out and grab it and go through it. If you did get in reaching grasp of the Bigfoot that you're smelling and hearing and all this other stuff, like, you're experiencing just as much as that ghost. Seeing that ghost is a physical thing. So is hearing and smelling. So why, I don't understand how you don't believe that there's a possibility of a Bigfoot. Because if everybody else is telling you, hey, this is what I experienced, and then I saw it, it's a Bigfoot, you're still kind of like, I don't know. What was you making those loud noises and footsteps and screams?
This is the best way. That I could never explain. That I could never explain the screams and all that. I could never explain that. But I've heard them, and I'll get back to that. But when it comes to comes to things you can't grasp. You know, you can hear it, you can smell it, you can't see it. What amazes me is these people who actually post these videos of these so-called Bigfoot, and you can tell it's a freaking fake. You can tell it's a fake. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous on how some of these are fake. Some of them are real. And that one guy, I can't think of his name, but he's the one who had several pictures of Bigfoot. And there's one where he's peeking through some trees, and you can see the actual crinkle in his forehead.
You're talking
spread of
about
his nose, his eyes. Did you ever seen that one?
Todd Standing. Is that what you're talking about?
I don't know, but he had several of them. He had several different types of Bigfoots that he had that looked different. That one freaked me the fuck out. That one looked evil as fuck.
You'll have to send me what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'll find it and I'll send it to you. I'll find it and I'll send it to you. Now, you guys, have you ever heard about the Dyatlov Pass? I think it's how you pronounce it.
In Russia, Dyatlov Pass. Yeah.
Have you ever watched the documentary called Yeti Massacre?
Yeah, I have. Feel like I have, but I've seen so many documentaries I can't remember.
This is the new one. You need to watch it. It actually gives you the full detail on the Yeti Massacre. What happened to those kids? The one girl had her tongue ripped out.
Yeah, it was a lot of stuff that was very ape-like in what happened to the bodies. Like the way
they cracked the body. The bodies, they literally said they exploded. They actually show in the Yeti Massacre, they actually show you the autopsy results. And they say unknown force. Basically, their insides exploded. They were squeezed, or just to the point that their whole insides were busted. You know, like I said, you got to watch it and you got to read the actual their autopsy reports. But these people were killed by Bigfoot.
Yeah,
they were
really
killed by
interesting.
Bigfoot.
It's like it shows to where basically, like, you know, how if a chimp attacks another, you know, like was it you had those, what was it, when those chimps escaped and they hit that elderly lady and they ripped her nose off, they ripped her breast off, they ripped her ears off. That's exactly the same way. It's like the way the chimps or apes attacked their enemies was the same way these people were. Their nose were gone, their ears were gone, the tongue was gone, the breasts were gone.
One guy's eyes were gone. One guy's eyes were really gone.
Yeah, what they could get to was gone.
Right.
Yeah, interesting. But that also happens in like alien abduction, not alien abduction, like, you know, not what's that? Not crop circles. What do the aliens do when they
Probe you?
No, when they cut up cows. What's that called?
Oh, you're talking about.
Yeah, what's it called? Why can't I'm blanking on this? Like when the
I know I'm blanking out too.
Yeah, like when people find their cattle mutilations.
Oh yeah, they did the laser shit.
Like people find the same thing in cattle mutilations too. Like, so is that like, how do we, like, we can't just contribute all that to apes when, you know, the same thing happens over here in alien cattle mutilations, allegedly.
Well, when the Russian government says that they died from an avalanche, you know they're fucking full of shit.
Well, what does the Russian government have? What motivation does the Russian government have to keep it a secret?
Because, if you watch the Yeti Massacre, it'll explain that to you. Because back in the 1940s, during World War II, and even before that, Stalin and Hitler found their soldiers actually had captured one. They had one.
I've heard about that.
They were trying to make them into soldiers. They were trying to make them into killing machines. Sure. Supposedly into killing machines. And if you look into the pictures, so in the Yeti Massacre documentary, they will show you all the pictures that was taken by the students. And it'll show you an actual picture of Bigfoot. I don't know if you've seen that, but there is an actual
back in the trees.
Yeah, but I thought that was taken.
Photograph 12. Look it up. Photograph 12. And then you'll find it on Google. Photograph 12, and it'll show you an actual picture of Bigfoot.
I'll have to go back and look.
It's the one that's like standing in the tree line, looking around the tree.
No, he's standing. He's actually standing out in the middle of the pathway.
Yeah.
Kind of looking kind of like holding on to a tree.
That's the same one I'm thinking of.
Like they took the picture, but there's a ton of pictures of the tree lines. And what they can't understand is why, instead of camping where they found their tents, they were camping in the wood. They should have been camping in the woods from under the protection of the trees and the elements. Instead, these kids were out in the middle of a fucking field. And they had slits from the insides of their tent, little slits so they can look out from the inside. They even showed this tent and how it was cut. One side they had slit like they were washing on both sides, and then there was a giant slit like they cut it from inside to escape, and they were running off in different directions. But when they found them, most of them didn't have some clothes or shoes on. Now, what the fuck are you doing taking your shoes off in the middle of fucking cold ass snow in the mountains?
Yeah, even people like did you ever read the books, the Missing 411 books?
Oh yes, Missing 4. I've not read them, but I've watched the documentaries, and they're very interesting.
Mom had bought his books, and I read them, and there's a lot of that too. Even with people not in the middle of the of the snowstorm, just dropping their clothes right where they stand and just not being there. Like it's almost he describes it almost as if they melted into their clothes.
Right.
And just disappeared right there on the spot. So, yes, I love this book. I love David.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good. You're good. We're here to listen to you and your stuff, the weird stuff that's happened to you and Mom and Uncle, everybody.
Right. Well, let me finish this part and I'll get back to Clarksville.
Sure. Go ahead.
So, on those 411 things, like I said, if you actually go watch the documentaries on the Missing 411, it'll show you the patterns. They're all connected to a national park. Even some of the people missing from their homes, like some of the farmlands and all that, all were national, around the national parks. Yosemite, the one over there in New York. Check that out. But back to Clarksville. So my grandmother lived up in Clarksville. She lived right across the street, right across the road, the gravel road from my grandfather. Little pink house. And her house backed up to the woods. And when we were kids, Grandma used to tell a story about a creature that would come up on the back of her porch.
Mm. So I never heard this before.
Yeah. She would talk about that. I always thought she was trying to scare us, or maybe she was telling the truth, or just, even though, because we knew the stories and all, but as a kid, you just never know, right?
Right.
Well, when my grandmother was dying, I was taking care of her at Aunt Debbie's, and I asked Grandma if that was true, and she said yes, it was. She said there is an animal, a hairy, large animal living in those woods.
Had Grandma seen it at this point herself, or
just
your grandmother?
My mother's grandma. My mother's mother.
Yeah, but did Grandma see it as well?
No, I don't think she did. Now my grandfather might have, but he died in 1974, so he was only up there a few years.
Did you guys have a nickname for this thing, or did you guys just say hairy animal?
We called it Momo. We called it Momo because that's what it was called. Momo, Missouri, Momo. We called it Momo. Literally, Momo was here. Momo's out there. My mom always say Momo's out there. Momo's out there.
So this is just something you guys just lived with on a day-to-day basis, and it was just you would have to deal with it sometimes, and then you guys would go to school and have a normal life, and then sometimes have to deal with this.
Right. I remember laying in bed one night, and this horrible screeching growl just permeated through the air outside my window, scared the fuck out of me. I didn't want to go look out. And I didn't look out.
Did you ever see like red glowing eyes or anything like that?
No. But I tell you, like I said, that watching these shows and all that, some of the things that I remember now as a kid. I remember sitting up. We spend a lot of time out in the woods. I would go out in the woods by myself, Sean. I would go up to the skylift by myself. And when we moved out of Clarksville, I was 12 years old. So, I mean, I can tell you how much running around I was doing as a little child on my own.
Yeah.
I was always in the woods.
Yeah.
I remember walking back there, And you know how you hear everything, you know, you get the crickets and all that. And all of a sudden it got quiet. It got so quiet. And I remember standing in the middle, which I could still see my house. I could still see my house because I wasn't that far into the woods. And I'm looking around and I'm trying, what am I looking at? There's something, what's made everything quiet? You know, it was just the strangest thing. But I remember also at the same time, I actually found a footprint in the mud, and it was a clay mud. It was like a gray mud, you know, the kind of clay mud, not the red clay, but a gray clay.
Oh, yeah.
And it was along the drainage, like a little tiny creek where the water runs off, you know, the side of the hill, and it makes like a little creek, and like a little ditch. And it was still muddy enough for a footprint there. A barefoot.
How big would you say? Pretty big?
And I'm like, and at the time when I remember as a kid what I was thinking to myself, who'd be walking in the woods? Maybe it was Sherry. Maybe somebody was out here walking in the woods barefooted. I'm like, who would do that? Because, you know, you can't walk. I mean, we walked barefoot a lot as kids. I even ran on gravel roads, but I never went in the woods without my shoes on. Never.
Yeah.
But there was times I would sit in a swing and I would hear this knocking. It was a knocking. You know, it's a knock I can't explain, but I'm like, what the fuck? What is up with that woodpecker? I always thought it was a woodpecker, but it wasn't the kind of woodpecker. It wasn't the kind of knocking that you would hear. It was definitely wood on wood, and I couldn't explain it. I just thought it was a normal part of the sounds because that's what you heard in the wood. All your life you grew up as a kid. The sounds you heard as a kid was normal.
Yeah.
Was normal. But I remember hearing those, Sean. I remember sitting on the swing hearing those all the time. And the whistles, those, and not like a bird whistle, but a high-pitched whistle.
Do you ever feel like you're being watched when you were out there on the swing or anything?
A couple times. Actually, you know, it's really weird because I just went up to Clarksville about 2 months ago. It might have been less than that. And I haven't been up there since I left there. I was 12 years old when I left there. So I was standing in my front yard, and I'm looking at the swing where the swing would be sitting, and all I can remember is those trees. There was 2 trees behind the actual rock garden and the mom's swing. She had a 1-seat swing. When she was a kid, we swung on as a kid. But there were 2 trees back there, and every year the ivy would grow up it, you know. So it made that area always dark. And one time I was sitting there on the swing, and I thought there was something standing there. It looked like there was something standing there in with the darkness. I don't know if there was, but I was always too scared to go into that particular part of the wood. And there is a walkway because we used to cut through that and go up the hill, and we would cut back down to make it a shorter way home when we were coming home from playing up the hill.
Right.
But I remember coming home when we would go out in the summertime. We were allowed to run. You know, we were allowed to run the streets until the street lights came on. But in the summertime, we were allowed to play out till like 10 or 11. We would go up the hill and we would play jailbreak with the local kids. And I remember walking down the actual gravel road that leads to our house that goes into that dark part of the wooded area, and it always freaked me the fuck out. And I remember walking down there, and I was, you know, I had the heebie-jeebies really bad, you know, really bad. At the top of the road at the time, it had a street light. But as you went down into the road and it curved around, which at the time as a kid, it seemed so far away. And I used to run down that because I didn't want to walk down that. I was scared of it at night. But I remember walking down there and I'm hearing snapping in the woods, tree snapping. Never seen anything, but I've heard things. Let me tell you something that's happened to me recently.
Uh-oh.
All right, here we go.
Recently, and it's not even Clarksville.
Oh. You're in Illinois now, right? You're not in Missouri anymore. You moved over to Illinois?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Missouri Concord.
Illinois.
Only when my aunt's talking.
Illinois, and I never lived in Missouri. It's not Missouri, it's Missouri.
There's only noise in Illinois when my aunt's talking. That's
Okay.
Go ahead.
So
Ba-dum-boom.
January 1st of 2023, it was warm, and we took Annie down because I know this date for a fact because, well, it's when I moved out of Dan's house and when Annie died because she got hit by a car the next day. We decided we were going to take Annie down to the Missouri confluence. This is where the Illinois meets the Mississippi. And it's like, I think like so many thousands of acres. All right.
Mhm.
And we'd just gotten over a serious cold spell. The ground was frozen and all that. And it was still pretty chilly. It was a warmer day considering it wasn't warm. For January, it was warm. It was probably like 35, 40 degrees. Okay. So we decided we're going to go down there and we're going to go cut through this little area that takes you down to the river. And Dan gets out and he's walking the dog's going for him. And I'm looking down and I'm walking. And it ain't even dawning on me. As I'm walking, I'm like, who in the fuck would be walking around barefooted down here in the middle of the fucking winter? And I stopped.
And you just came back to you.
I froze and turned the fuck. I got pictures.
Really?
Send
I
it
got
to
pictures
us.
of me.
Send them to me. What the heck, dude? You knew you were supposed to. You knew we were talking
We're
about
supposed to- we
this.
should be doing some overlays right now.
No, we can't.
Oh, that's right.
We're not doing
that.
OBS.
That's
But
right.
dang it, yeah, you knew I was going to call you about this. You should have sent them to me.
Right, there were two sets of. There were adult and there were small. There was a youth.
Oh,
And, you know,
what?
Probably
like-
Sam.
Dan's like, there's probably somebody around here with their kid. I said, Dan, it's mud. It's January. Who's walking around in the mud in January? Are you fucking kidding me?
And how big were like the adult feet? Like they were probably bigger than a human's, right?
They were bigger than I have small feet, so I got 5'7". That's 5'7". So I mean, like I said, I was trying to get the pictures of all the footprints that I found.
Right.
Because Dan was pressuring me, come on, it ain't nothing. It's just somebody just walking through. And I'm like, bullshit. I'm like, and you said I literally froze. And I started snapping pictures. And I'm like, the one thing I didn't do, and Ronnie wanted me to go back and do it, and I didn't even think about it because, I don't think about that shit because I don't do that shit. Ronnie goes, you need to go check the stride. Go check the stride. How far was the stride? And I'm like, I don't know. I didn't check the stride. I just took the pictures of the fucking prints in the mud in January.
Yeah. Barefoot prints in the mud in January.
Barefoot prints.
Were there
Not
toes?
barefoot people's prints.
Well, she said people prints.
With
Well, I
a
mean,
smaller
you can
version.
clearly see
You're not,
toes.
you know what? You're not going to let your kid walk around the mud in bare feet to put him in a car. You're going to pick your kid up.
Could you
walk around bare feet.
could you see the toe prints and everything?
Yeah, oh yeah, I got pictures. I gotta go dig back in my phone,
Oh
and
yeah.
I'll see people
Just
when we
send,
get off
to,
the phone.
just send it to me when you get a chance. Don't no rush. Just send it to me when you get a chance.
Yeah.
I like to pour over those.
Oh yeah, I got pictures. Like I said, Ronnie was upset because then he wanted to go down there, and I'm like, it was just the strangest thing I ever seen because it was just me, Dan the dog, Annie our dog, and those footprints. And like I said, those footprints were just so out of fucking place because it was the middle of the winter. It was mud. It was wet mud. It wasn't dry mud. It wasn't from the summer.
And-
It wasn't anything. It was wet fucking mud with the prints still in it.
And where was this at?
The Missouri confluence, right
Okay.
down here off of Riverview Roads. Just probably about maybe less than 5 miles from Dan's house, but there's lots and lots of land. It's lots and lots. It's all what do they call that? Not reserve, but what they call that, preserve or whatever.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, government property.
Reserve.
A wildlife management area or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, wildlife reserve. That's what
Yeah.
it is. Wildlife reserve.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of wetland, a lot of wetlands, a lot of overgrowth, a lot of all that. A lot of that.
Right. Yeah.
But there are some tree structures down there. I've seen them through the woods.
Oh yeah, you should take some pictures of those too.
I didn't know. I didn't want to walk down there. I didn't want to walk down there. And I sure enough went in to get Dan to walk down there with me. He was, we had the dog. I had Annie with me, and when I would walk back, I would go get Annie. I get the leash, and you're coming with me, dog. Annie be my God. But I would walk because my eyesight's not so great anymore. I'm going to be 55 in March. But and I'm trying to walk nonchalantly through the woods and stand around and look and try to focus on everything and try to focus to see if I can see anything. Like I said, I would have never, ever even would have thought about that down there if I hadn't seen those fucking prints with my own eyes.
And you weren't. And when was the last time Bigfoot was even on your mind, or anything on your mind? Like
last time Bigfoot was on my mind
was probably when you were texting me about the sounds. That was a few months ago now.
Yeah, that. But at that time, Bigfoot hadn't been on my mind, in a long, long time. And like I said, those prints made me freeze. I literally froze. I just, like I said, I was just so put out by it. I mean, I was also excited at the same time because I'm like, I call him Ronnie, and he's like, he's getting like no Frankie. I mean, if your mother was alive, I would have called her. Yeah. She would have been. She probably would have flew up.
Yeah, she probably would have. Yeah, in a heartbeat. Well, let me.
I'm coming up. Yeah, she would have been up there. No, she would have.
So let me ask you this. So the more that I've gotten involved in the community, the more that people have been sharing more than just if they've seen Bigfoot, something else has happened. They've lived in a haunted house, or they lived in all this other. Have you ever seen weird lights in the woods outside your house at all, like orbs?
Yeah, all the time. We always seen that stuff. But like I said, we always thought it was ghosts, But obviously, Bigfoot's a little bit more than what. It's not the typical animal, and I hate to inform your mother if she were alive, but Bigfoot was not on the ark.
So that was Grandma's rationalization. Was like, hey, I'm seeing this, so it wasn't on the ark, and
no, it was your mother.
Oh, Mom? What are you talking about, Mom?
Bigfoot, she thought Bigfoot was real. It was a real animal. It was a God-created creature, and she thinks that was probably on the ark.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, Mom did believe that. Yes, yeah.
Yes, but no, Bigfoot is an evil. It's not a good thing. It's not. Well,
people have good experiences with them, and people have bad experiences with them, and it seems kind of like there is an individuality to them. Just like there's you can have a nice cat, you can have a bad cat, you can have a nice dog, you have a bad dog. I wouldn't say that a dog is evil because it's mean to certain people.
Right.
Just like I wouldn't, I can't put that on a Bigfoot or anything like that, because sometimes 9 times out of 10, like at any point in time, Aunt Barb, think about this. At any point in time, you could have been snatched up and taken. Nobody would know where you went. As a child, right. You and your friends, if they were really that evil,
you don't think that's what's happening to people in the 411? They're not being snatched up?
I don't doubt it, but I'm not going to go out. There are humans that I probably live next door to that are evil people, but I'm not going to not walk outside my front door because they might hurt me. You know what I mean? Chances are I'm around people who aren't going to hurt me.
Well, when you hear horror stories like the Daltoph Pass and the Port Chatham, I know you heard about Port Chatham.
Yeah.
They were pulling, they were being dismembered. Actually, Sean, I got a picture that a friend of mine sent me from Alaska. Okay. I grew up with him. His name is Billy Jeans.
Okay.
And actually, I could say I grew up with him. He was older than Sherry and Ronnie. And he lived in Alaska for the last 4 years. He just retired. He's back. He's living in Clarksville again.
Okay.
And I asked him about things that went on up in. I asked him about Bigfoot up there.
Mm-hmm. He
said he never seen anything, but he heard stories.
Yeah.
And he sent me a picture. He goes, "You don't want to live up here. This is what happened to you." He sent me a picture, and he said it was a bear attack. He said he was told it was a bear attack. But this picture is not a bear attack, and I'll tell you why. Because this person is torn in pieces. When I say pieces, his arms and legs were torn off. A bear does not do that. A bear will eat you or bite you, tear you up with his claws, but he's not going to dismember you arm and arm and arm on your head. I got an actual photograph of a dismembered body that was found in the Alaskan woods.
You have that?
I have it.
Send that to me too. I want to see this shit. I want to see this. I've seen some bad shit, so don't spare me because I'm your nephew. Just send it to me.
I know.
I'd like to see
hard.
this.
I won't spare you. I mean, it's not a pretty sight. Because I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean that one of them, one or a few doesn't speak for all of them. I'm not saying these things are gentle creatures by any means.
I realize that, but you just know this is not a bear attack. This is not your typical bear attack.
Well, let me ask you this. Speaking of the bear attack, so let me ask you this. So I know Grandma had seen some weird things. Like allegedly she saw pterodactyl. What about right now? You maybe even heard of it. This particular creature is getting really, really popular, and people are talking about an upright walking wolf, essentially a werewolf. Have you ever come across anything like that? Have you ever seen anything that you might have thought was a Bigfoot, but it was like, oh, that kind of looks more like a dog?
No. I've watched some of the videos that look. Sometimes you can tell AI and sometimes you can't. I mean, you got to be really good at AI to fucking fuck, to make it believable. I've seen some pictures I thought that could possibly be, but I've never seen anything like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. No massive dog prints or anything like that.
No massive dog prints. No massive any other than the footprints.
Well, Tommy, I remember before your trailer burned down.
Mm-hmm.
Tommy had talked about they were in the woods and they had recorded they thought was a banshee chasing them out of the woods. And when they were telling this story and they had it on tape and all, Gino, Frank, and Tommy had this all on videotape, and then your trailer burnt down like a couple weeks later or something like that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that was an arsonist. That was an obsessive arsonist who,
okay.
Yeah, he spent 5 years.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't a mysterious burning down, but okay.
No, it wasn't a mysterious burning down. No.
But
he burnt my house down 5 times.
What did you? Did you cut this guy off in traffic? Like, what did you do to upset this man? You must have done something.
I don't know. I just know that he Molotov cocktailed my car too.
Oh,
good Lord.
That sounds personal, Barb. I think something happened.
It was
right.
personal.
Jilted love.
We could do a whole interview on that alone.
That was the ex-boyfriend her and my mom dated.
That'll be on our other channel, Jilted Love Confessionals.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Love in the trailer park. Love trailer park style.
Well, they had all this stuff that they thought was a ghost chasing them out of the woods, but then now I learned this banshee screaming.
Maybe it was just
Bigfoot.
that guy.
Oh yeah, it could have been that guy chasing them out of the woods. Could have been. Or Ken Gerhardt.
There is a history of the banshee with our family. I don't know if you ever heard that story or not. Your mom ever heard that story?
No, I haven't heard any stories about banshees, and I don't know if I want to.
The best way I can describe it. This is the best way Aunt Debbie and Mom can describe it.
Uh-oh.
You ever seen The Hound of the Baskervilles?
Yep.
You know the Hound.
The sound of the Hound. Sherlock Holmes.
The sound of the Hound.
Back in the day.
I heard.
Just the sound of the Hound. Every time there was a death in the family, there was a sound of the Hound. And my aunt said that she was sitting. Her and Mom were sitting in the living room the day her father died, and they heard this. Now, this is in the middle of St. Louis City on Helen Street. They heard this loud call, a banshee, and she said, all of a sudden, let me think what it is, tablecloth, the lace tablecloth that was on the dining room table raised up on its own and then dropped. And then they got the phone call.
And there was a banshee before this?
It's a call. It's about the sound of that occurs before somebody dies. Before somebody dies close to you.
I'll have to listen to this because I don't know. I don't think I've ever heard that before.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you ever heard it before. I'm just telling you what my mom and my aunt told me with them in the family.
And they said that was like the family banshee or whatever.
Right.
There is folklore.
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 Well, every time, I'm gonna tell you something right now, and I'm sure I don't know if your mom's ever told you this, but my mom used to have the same thing. Let me go back to we're not even on the Bigfoot subject here when we're
It's
doing
okay.
that.
No,
No,
this is-
we're supernatural.
Yeah, we're Lone Star Supernatural. Even though you're from Missouri, and
Oh yeah, you can't see that.
She
Okay,
can't
you're
see
all
it.
supposed to have
But
it.
I'm still.
we're Lone Star
Scratching my
Supernatural. We explore all the weird.
Sean's too scared to go into a haunted house, though.
No, I'm not.
Well, let's go.
I've never been in a haunted house. So this house might be haunted. You see all those orbs dropping on the stream just now? That's weird.
Well, with all your family history, I may not want to sleep in this house.
Yeah, the banshees in here. Okay, sorry. Go ahead, Aunt Barb. Go ahead.
No, but the family history. So my grandmother, which is Granny, who lived across from Gus, she had I know a lot of people will laugh at this, but it's true because I have some of it. I don't know if your mom had it, but my aunt had it. My Gino has it, and my mother had it. A sixth sense. Okay. And this is a true statement. You can call my daughter. You can call Bonnie. You can call Frankie. They can tell you this. This is true to the fact. One day during not the summer, the winter time, we had snow, and my grandmother called my mom and told my mom, "Don't let Barb go sled riding today. I had a dream she's gonna get hurt." And my mom always listened to my mother because my grandmother was always right. She always listened to him. So mom said I couldn't go, and of course I was upset. She goes, "Just go, take your sled across the street where I can see you." Right? I did that. Guess what happened when I went up the hill and came down?
You got hurt.
I got hurt. And I'll never forget, I was on one of those old-fashioned wooden sleds, with the metal and the
With
wood.
the middle, yeah.
And I come down that hill, and I hit the ditch. And when I did, I slid forward from the sled. And I got the scar to this day from it. But there was a nail on it, and it ripped my leg wide open, right?
Ooh.
It didn't penetrate my pants, but I felt the pain. So mom's on the phone with grandma at the time that I'm running in the house holding my leg screaming, right? And my mom's like, what's the matter? I hurt my leg. And they're like, let me see. And all she could, there were like 3 little red drops of blood on my pants. I was wearing red pants, by the way. And she said, pull your pants down. So I pulled my pants down. When I pulled my pants down, my skin folded over.
Oh God! It was
Never forget
sticking.
my
The
mother.
skin was sticking to the
Yeah.
pants because the blood dried.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh yeah, so my grandmother had a sixth sense. I knew mom was going to die before she died. She was walking from the kitchen to my bathroom. I was getting ready for work because, she homeschools Sammy, so she would come over and homeschool her there. And I'm sitting there and I said, I'm not going to have my mother much longer. And 1 week later, she died. 1 week later. Before that Friday before, I was standing in the hospital where I worked at that time. I was a housekeeper at the hospital before I went into surgery. And I went, you don't smell that? You're like, no, what do you smell? And I said, I smell funeral flowers. Funeral flowers. Gino come walking in. I said, Gino, you smell that? He goes, yeah, funeral flowers. And everybody's looking at us. Kelly, hell, you can call Kelly. Kelly can even tell you what that happened because she was standing right there. My mother died that Monday. And every time another thing I do, I dream about snakes. I dream about snakes. When I dream about snakes, when I say a real dream about snakes, not seeing when I'm dreaming about snakes without seeing a movie with snakes on it that'll cause me to have a dream. And Dan always thought I was crazy. I used to tell him a story all the time. When I dream about snakes, somebody dies, right? So I had a dream about a snake. And I was telling Dan, I said, I dreamt about snakes last night. I said, I wonder if someone's going to die in my family. He looked at me like I was crazy, right? And I was telling him about the dream. I said, I dreamt we were in like a cabin. It was our house, but it was a cabin-style house. And we were sitting on the couch, and I was trying to adjust. There was something wrong with the cushion on the couch. And when I pulled the couch cushion out, there were snakes inside the couch. Right? All right. Mm-hmm. So I told Dan about that, and he thought it was just a dream and all that. And I said, okay. So I think it might have been a week, 2 weeks later, Aunt Debbie dies.
Mm.
So, and I could find that. I bet you I could probably find that in my text messages to Dan if it didn't automatically delete. I wrote to him. I said, "Do you remember when I told you about that dream about snakes? About how I said," and he goes, "Yeah, I remember that dream." And I said, "Aunt Debbie died." He was quiet.
Did you have one before mom? Did you have one before mom passed or grandpa?
Grandpa. I mean, it was obvious, Grandpa. I mean, it's kind of hard when you know that they're going to die.
Oh, unexpected deaths is different.
They're you know, we knew about your mom. I already knew about Dad, but I didn't have those feelings with Dad because I already knew he was. You know what I'm saying? It just, if I did, I would have just chalked it up to because I know he's going to die.
Yeah. Unexpected.
I didn't know Aunt Debbie was going to die because Aunt Debbie, just like Dad always pulled out of it. You know?
Yeah.
Aunt Debbie always pulled out of it, but no, Aunt Debbie didn't pull out this time. She didn't pull out of it this time, and she died. And sometimes I have to remind people of the dreams that I have. Oh, I'll say something. I had a dream about a snake. If somebody dies, just remember me telling you this. You know what I say. Remember me telling you this.
Well, I'm one of those people that don't think dreams mean shit. So if you have a dream and it's been pretty consistent, then you're on to something. But I have some whacked out dreams.
I can't say that the dreams don't have something. I mean, you dream. Some people don't dream. You know, some people don't dream at all.
Yeah.
You know, some people don't even dream in color. Do you dream in color?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, I had a dream once when I was going to music school. I had a dream. I was playing some song, and about 3 days later, I was writing a song. And about halfway through the second verse, I was like, "Holy shit! This is exactly the song I dreamt 2 days ago."
Right.
Because it happened in 15 minutes. I wrote everything in 15 minutes.
There you go. I've heard there's stories of like
deja vu. It's like deja vu.
Yeah. There's stories of like famous artists. I forgot who I might have been, like Leonard Skinner or whatever. They would dream. They'd be like the part they'd be at that point of sleep where you're like half asleep, half awake. Yeah. They'd come with an idea, then they'd force themselves awake and write it down. Yeah. And that's how they. I don't know if that was Leonard. It might have been Corey. What's his face from Slipknot? Who thought it? But anyway, that's.
I thought you were going to say Corey Feldman.
No. His songs. I love the guy, but his songs. So yeah. Anyway.
Hey, I had a chance to see him in concert here recently.
You do what now?
Corey Feldman.
Oh, I like Corey Feldman. I mean,
I done a music hall out here in St. Charles.
Really?
Yep.
Did you get to meet him?
No, I said I had a chance to. I didn't go see him.
Oh, well, you should have went.
Yeah.
I heard he's a pretty cool guy.
Yeah, well, obviously.
He did like a pop-up concert here in like Austin not too long ago. Yeah. He just showed up at a bar and he was singing, and he actually did a good Cry Sister Cry. What was that? Who was that? That's the Cry from fucking
Cry Little Sister.
Yeah, Cry Little Sister. That's not the
Lost
Doors.
Boys?
Lost Boys, but Cry Little Sister is not the Doors. No, it is the Doors that sings.
Yeah, it is.
Cry Little Sister, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the Doors that sings that song.
Yeah.
We only
Doors and People Are Strange. No, People Are Strange.
No, that's the Doors.
Lost Boys.
Yeah, but that's the Doors. People Are Strange is the Doors.
Cry Little Sister is not by
Little
the
Sister
Doors.
is probably that shirtless guy McMahon, the saxophone.
Yeah, it's on the Lost Boys soundtrack.
Well, dude, of course, everybody.
Is it the buff guy with the saxophone?
I don't know. I guess from what I'm understanding, if you were gay in that time, that's when you realized you were gay. Is that scene?
Yeah, when you realized you were gay?
I'm not gay because I have many sexual relationships with women. But
let's hear from you in a live chat.
Chime in now. So I don't look like an idiot.
Sister was sung by Gerard McMahon.
Yeah, we figured that out just a second ago. Barb, for Terry made allegations, false allegations.
Well, it's kind of hard when you all talking at once, and then there's like a backlash or something that sounds like I don't know what it is. That's why I feel like I'm interrupting you because I never know when somebody's talking.
Yeah, it's the horrible thing about speakerphone.
Oh yeah, we were having an issue with the streaming program we wanted to use, so we're doing a super ghetto way to get you on. Apparently, the chat said they can hear you just fine, so we're rolling with it. Yeah. So it seems to be fine now. But, so let's let's transition a little bit. I have a vague memory of being in Grandma and Grandpa's house, and I was little, and Gene was probably, I would like to say he was like a preteen or a teenager, and there was like a bright light coming into the house, and there was like fog in the house. And this could have been a dream, but I remember walking out of the bedroom with Mom, and Gene was sleeping in the living room, and there was like fog and a bright light coming in. He's like, "Oh my God, this is like being in a werewolf movie or something." And he was like, he had his hands out like he was trying to sneak. Do you remember any of that?
No, I don't think I was living there at the time.
I was little. I know I was little.
Yeah, I guess I was living there. If you were little, I was living there.
And
I
Gene,
may not have been home at the time. I don't recall that one. I don't recall that one.
he was sleeping.
Yeah.
He was he probably Adriana's age, like 13 or 14, from what I remember. And he was sleeping in the living room.
He always slept in the living room for
Yeah,
some reason.
on the
was like
floor.
sleeping on the floor.
Yeah, on the floor. He was sleeping in the room on the floor, and his pillows and stuff were everywhere. And me and Mom came out of the bedroom for some reason. There was like a big bright light, like a spotlight was shining through the front window. And there was like fog it's not mist, but fog, like in the house.
No,
It
I
was
don't
the
remember.
craziest thing. I remember that. Like throughout my years, I'm like, man, did I dream that? That had to have been a dream. But no, I just remember it being real, like a memory, like an actual memory. It was so weird. No one else remembers.
Maybe did your mom see it?
She was standing. She was the one. I remember walking out of the bedroom with Mom. Like Ashley wasn't there, but she kind of remembers. She remembers something similar to that, but she remembers like a bunch of men in black in the front yard or something like that.
I don't remember that at all.
She told me that we were at Grandma and Grandpa's, and something was going down, and then there was like a bunch of like lights pointed at the front, like from car lights pointed at the front, and there's a bunch of men in top hats or like hats standing in the light. She could only see the silhouette, and then like Mom told us to stay inside, and there was like, and Ashley was like, yeah, that's the first time I thought of Men in Black. And then she said when the movie came out, she was like, oh, that reminds me of those guys in the front yard.
Oh, just from the movie poster?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. She's like, those
No,
are the guys.
I don't recall that at all. That's like I said, I have a good memory. I don't recall that at all.
See,
I don't even know where I was at. I don't know. Was I living in Cottleville at the time?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know.
I might have been living in Cottleville by then, so I don't remember that particular incident. So
I wish I could remember 100% myself, but again, I don't know, like some of the stuff that I've heard from you guys or Uncle Ron or Frank or Gino or Mom or even Grandpa, like some of them all kind of run together, and some of the details might just be kind of mixing in. And I don't know. That's why I need you on here to clarify. And you might not even be able to clarify certain things. I might need to ask Frank or Uncle Ron, like, what is this that happened, or at least their side of things or their perspective. But yeah, I know we've like our whole family's had some crazy stuff, man. I'm telling you, man. This is just the tip of the iceberg of weird shit in this family.
We got. Let me tell you something. When we were kids, in Clarksville, we really were out of control. When I say out of control, we were doing shit we shouldn't have been doing.
Well, duh. That's what you do.
And when I talk about that, I'm talking about, you know the whole story about the Ouija board and all that. Well, we were doing shit way before that. We were so when we moved out to Clarksville in 1970-71, we moved in on October 31st, Halloween. And Frankie can remember this, but you know what? Like I said, I was born in 69, so you can remember how little I was.
Mm-hmm.
I remember Frankie come running out, screaming at Mom and Dad. Ronnie and Frankie both screaming and crying. I saw a hand. Yeah. A hand reached up to try to grab him.
Yeah.
A ghostly hand. And I'll never forget that. I never forget that because I was a little kid, and because he was scared, I was scared.
Yeah, I think Uncle Frank said that Grandpa gave them a spanking because he thought they were trying to not go to bed and watch Scooby-Doo or something.
Okay. No, this is what went on. This is how bad it was. okay, we would play with the ghosts so bad. I could tell you all kinds of ghost stories, and they ain't stories. They're real. It's true. I used to go down in the basement, and I remember standing down in the basement, quiet. And when your house is full of spirits, you can hear those spirits. You just gotta listen for them, and I'll explain to you. And if you ever watched any paranormal stuff, you'll know it. And if you haven't, if you've never experienced it, you wouldn't believe it. But I did experience it, and you can hear it, and it's like gibberish. It's like somebody's in the walls talking.
Oh, I know. I heard it in your house. That fucking man freaked out.
Yeah, and you can hear it in the basement. I had my name called to me, and
yeah.
Yeah, so it called my name. I was down in the basement, said my name, and I just stiffened up, and I said, "Oh no, you ain't. Fuck that shit. You fuck with me in Clarksville. You ain't fucking with me now." And I wouldn't let it bug me. I was not going to let it bug me, and I did not.
And that was the house. That was the house you and Ken lived in, right?
Yes, that's how
yes.
But that was nothing. That was nothing. Clarksville was the worst, and because we played with the ghosts.
We
played with them. When I say we played with them, we taunted them. I'm not kidding you. Straight up fact. I remember Frank used to say, "I hope the ghosts come out tonight. I hope the ghosts come out tonight." And every night the ghosts would come out. And they'd have to be yelling us down the stairs. We went up the stairs screaming. I'll never forget, we were down in the basement. Dad had built rooms down in the basement. And we would play with the ghosts. We would say, "I hope the ghosts come out tonight." And they would. And I'll never forget laying in bed. And to this day, it makes my hair curl in the back of my neck. And every time I sleep in this position, it's weird, but every time I sleep in this position, I think of that moment. And I'm 54 years old, and I was probably less than 10 years old when this happened. I was laying in my bed, and I was laying with my legs like the number 4. My right leg, if you're looking at me, you'll think I got the number 4.
On your stomach,
right?
And
I had the blanket in my hands, but underneath my chin. And I kind of had my elbows out. And I'm laying and I was trying to go to sleep. And all of a sudden in my ear it goes, "Barbara." And I went, "Frankie, stop it. I was like, Frankie, stop it. And Frankie come running in the other room, but from the bedroom. It wasn't Frankie. Something growled my name in my ear. And I got my hair standing on end right now.
Oh.
Hair standing on end right now. It was that bad. Now, it gets even worse. So Ronnie had a drum set, and it was underneath the stairs next to that's where it was stored at. And you could hear, not kidding you, dun, 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 like an Indian beat on the drums. We had an organ downstairs. Now, it's a whole another story. We had an electric organ, and after playing with them downstairs, we decided we were going to sleep upstairs. So we abandoned the basement. For many, many years, we never slept in the basement after those ghost incidents. We would not go sleep in the basement. And we went down the stairs. We didn't want to go down there.
Was the basement y'all's bedroom?
Yeah, the boys had their bedroom, and we had our bedroom. Me and Sherry had our bedroom. Gino had his bedroom upstairs next to Dad, and Mom and Dad had their bedroom. All right? So when all that shit went down, we went upstairs. So, but before that went down, I got back up here. I don't mean to screw.
No, go ahead.
No.
No.
I had to back up. Ronnie would deliver papers, and there was a black kid there. No offense, it's not a racist thing there, but there's a black kid there that he didn't get along with. His name was, and Ronnie Scott threw a knife at my brother Ronnie.
Yes.
And stuck him in the leg with the knife.
Oh, so he probably deserved it, to be quite honest. So.
His leg all wrapped up. His leg was all wrapped up. So Ronnie couldn't get up and down the stairs. So Ronnie had to sleep on the sleeper couch upstairs. And we're downstairs, and all of a sudden we're hearing Ronnie yelling, "Frankie, get out of my bed! Get out of my bed, Frankie! Get the fuck up!" I need to say fuck. Get out of my bed! And we're downstairs, and like, Frankie's down here. And all of a sudden Ronnie started fucking screaming. there was something underneath the blanket. He thought it was Frankie. You could see a body underneath the blanket, and Ronnie ripped it back.
No. Oh.
Yes, Ronnie ripped it back. Okay, now, your mother better have told you this story, Sean, because if she didn't, you need to have Ronnie tell the story to you.
Okay.
Because I witnessed it. I witnessed the response. So, I don't know why. I think it's because we were fighting. Mom and Dad kind of switched us around because it used to be we would act up at night. We didn't want to go to bed. We wouldn't go to bed. So Dad would have to come in here and tell you, "Guys, go to sleep. Go to sleep. Cut it out. Go to sleep." You know, it was back and forth. We would always do that, right?
Yeah.
But there was times the parents would yell at us to go to sleep and stop making that noise, and we weren't doing a fucking thing. We're like, we ain't doing nothing. Dad's back there, oh, bullshit. Oh, bullshit, right? We weren't doing nothing. We weren't doing a damn thing. Well, I guess I can't remember why it got switched, where Mom and Dad had twin brass beds in their bedroom. They were sleeping in the living room on the sofa couch. So me and Frankie, I think maybe Dino was in his crib or something like that. No, maybe Dino wasn't born yet. It's probably Dino wasn't born yet. That's what it was. Dino wasn't born yet. And anyway, I've lost my train of thought. Hold on. I had to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Ronnie was just coming out of the bathroom, but Ronnie and Sherry were sleeping in the other room. They were real young, probably about 12, 13 years old. And Ronnie was in one bed and Sherry was in the other. And Ronnie was in the bathroom before me. Well, I was going into the bathroom and I was closing the door and I was looking at Ronnie as he was walking into the bedroom. And as he walks in the bedroom, he started screaming. There was a ghost standing there.
He was saying bogey, right? Bogey,
and
right?
The ghost, the apparition, pinned your mother in the bed and she couldn't move.
Oh,
and my sister
shit.
there and screamed. You mean to tell me she didn't tell you that story?
No.
Oh my God.
Maybe she didn't want to talk about it.
Maybe she didn't want to talk about it. Maybe she didn't. But we got a Ouija board. Mom got us a Ouija board for Christmas.
Oh, hey, here you go, kids that keep taunting the ghosts. Here's a Ouija board.
We would have seances. We would do that, and we would talk to it, and it gave us a name. We even asked its name.
What was the name?
And I'll tell you the name, but I don't want to look it up because every demon has a name. Every evil being has a name. This name was Eowak.
Spell it out. E-O.
E-A-O-W-O-K. That's what it was spelled on E-A-W-O-K. Eowak.
E-O-W-K-E.
Say that one more time. We've had a little bit of alcohol.
W-O-K. E-A-W-O-K.
E-A-W-O-K.
Yeah, look it up. I don't know if it is. It may not be nothing, but still, it could be scrambled. It could be scrambled too. Who knows? All I know is that's what it did, and the thing would move by itself. Okay, so my aunt would always come out during the summertime, or actually she would come out for months on end because my uncle was a cook for a barge line. He cooked. He was the baker cooker. He's a phenomenal cook and baker, but he worked on the barge lines. So he would do the barge lines for months on end. And he would be gone. So Aunt Debbie would come out with snorkels because Tommy wasn't born then.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. And shit would happen then. They seemed to act up more when Aunt Debbie came out.
Oh.
So, and now if she didn't tell you this story, I'm going to be more disappointed that she didn't tell you this story, Sean, because Frankie can tell you this story because Frankie was there. Frankie played hooky that day. Frankie played hooky from school because Aunt Debbie was there, so he pretended like he was sick.
Okay.
There was a fold-up table that was attached to the wall. It was red, attached to the knotty pine wall in the kitchen. And you could pop it up. It's like a little single sitting area or prep table-like in the kitchen. And Aunt Debbie had that up, and she put a glass of milk down, and she was getting ready to feed Snarkles. Gino was in bed sleeping in his crib, and he had, Mom had, it was mine, but with all the spiritual shit that was going on there, Mom hung a rosary. Now, a crystal rosary on the door. It was the little hook on the door. Mom hung it on. And it was hung on Gino's bedroom door. Anyway, all of a sudden, there was this scream through the house. It was a scream. It was like just the way Aunt Debbie and Frankie can describe it more than anything. The way Aunt Debbie described it, it was a scream like she's never heard. It was like a out of body, like unnatural scream. Mm-hmm. And something came and hit the bottom of the table. The milk glass went flying in the air. Gino was in his bedroom crying. When they went to the door and Frankie picked it up, first of all, and I had that for many years. I don't know what happened to it. The actual rosary was in pieces. It was blackened. It was clear crystal. It was clear crystal. It was real crystal, but it had black dust on it, like somebody threw it in the fire, and it scorched or burnt it. It was in pieces. True story, not a lie, not a fabrication. And Gino had a Spider-Man bank full to the neck with pennies and nickels, dimes, and quarters. That was on the other side of the room, and Gino was standing there in his crib going "Bagoo," because that's how he couldn't say the boogeyman, so he called it the Bagoo.
Well, I thought you said Uncle Frank said he was saying bogey over and over again. Bogey.
That bogey, he would say Bagoo. That's what he would say, Bagoo,
okay.
Bagoo, and he was crying Bagoo.
So he saw this motherfucker. Is what you're saying? He saw this shit go down. He saw what it was, but he's too old now to even remember what it looked like. I bet. I don't even remember it happening.
I remember laying in bed. I'll never forget laying in bed in the room that was before. This was before Gino was born. It was me and Sherry's room at the time. I was laying in bed, and the door was open. And you know, when you can't sleep as a kid, you know, and I'm looking towards the door, and all of a sudden these two white hands come out. And I screamed bloody murder. And I was crying, and I didn't want to go. I was scared to death. So I went in there and slept in with Mom and Dad. I went in where they were sleeping at. I went in between Mom and Dad and slept. That's how scared I was. I was that fucking scared. And Dad was a little skeptical with a lot of this, but there's the story of the walking Barbie doll, too.
Yeah. Frank told me about the Barbie doll.
I'm sorry, walking Barbie dolls? I'm sorry, what?
No, I got to tell you a story about my daughter with the Barbie doll, too. I'm going to go back on that one.
I'm really starting to rethink our friendship, Sean.
Yeah,
Too deep in now.
My aunt and uncle, my uncle never believed in shit. And Aunt Debbie just had, I'm trying to think, was it Snarkles or Tommy? I'm going to say it was Tommy because it was 77, so it had to be Tommy. So Tommy was a baby. He was newer, and Uncle Tom was in Clarksville because the Bards was there. The Bards, so they were docked there for overnight.
Right. Yeah.
So he came up to see Aunt Debbie. Well, Uncle Tom was all bullshit. So he went to go lay the baby down into Gino's crib that was in Mom and Dad's bedroom at the time. For Aunt Debbie's baby, because she slept in there, I think, when she stayed there. And he got slapped in the face. Uncle Tom didn't.
Uncle Tom
did?
He
got slapped in the face, right?
He got slapped in the face?
He got slapped in the face. He came out horrified. And that was the same night that they saw a pair of white legs walk across the room. And then a ashtray come up and literally lifted up off the coffee table and hit Dad in the leg, and then the Barbie doll walked across the coffee table. Now, I wasn't there for that. Once I wasn't there for that, I was probably downstairs sleeping in my bedroom, so Mom and Dad didn't tell us a lot of stuff that went on because we didn't want us to be too scared. But we still played with it. Mom and Aunt Debbie would love to play with it. And this is what we did one night. So we had the organ downstairs, and it was plugged. It wasn't plugged in. Let me say it wasn't plugged in, or maybe it was. I don't know. Either way, whether it was plugged in or not, I can't say for sure. But we had an old water wash basin. You know what that is? It's the old style where they had the bowl with the pitcher and all that. Yep. Well, that was sitting up against the wall in the kitchen, next to the basement door. The basement door that went down to the basement into our bedrooms and into the laundry room that was down there. right? And on that door, there's a light switch, and that light switch has a big round red plastic indicator, like a turn signal, like a round turn signal, and it lets you know whether the basement light's on or not, right?
Yeah.
So Mom and Aunt Debbie decided they wanted to play. So Mom and Aunt Debbie decided to pull that in front of the door, and we go into the living room. We go into the living room and sit there for a while, and go back in the kitchen, and that is now moved away from the wall and back. And we did that for probably 2 or 3 times. And I'm not lying when I tell you this, because I was standing right there, and I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it. My mom was like, she was all, ooh, okay, Debbie, ooh, ooh, ooh. And then, so she leaned up against the door, put her ear up against the door, and she literally went, and Sean, it answered. It went, boom, boom, and she leaped away from that door. I'll never forget. She screamed bloody. That was the last time Mom fucked with him. That was the last time Mom fucked with him. And I tell you what. I remember her laying on the couch. She had a cousin who was in college. They had a paranormal section of the college here somewhere in St. Louis. My mom sat there and talked to them about them coming out and doing an investigation. You know, when she talked about that investigation, the ghost never acted up again.
Really?
Really?
Almost like as if they knew that some, like, you know, people, like mainstream people were going to come out. I wonder what the cause of that is, you know, because that happens quite often. It's like, hey, look, and you look and then nothing happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know, the kids, people at school used to think we were telling tales, we were full of shit. So, you know, so we actually had some friends at our house one time, and there was you know, the smiley face that was, you know, have a nice day smile, you know, like from Forrest Gump, the yellow. But that was very popular at that time.
Right.
Well, my sister had made one in class in high school, and it was made of plaster and it had a hook in it, and she painted it either gold or yellow, almost like a goldish yellow. And it was hanging on the wall, and her and her friends, and I think one of Ronnie's friends were all standing there, and all of a sudden that thing come flying off the wall. It come flying off the wall at the kids, and the kids never came back. The kids never. Their house is haunted. You ain't really haunted.
So I guess the one question I have is, did it seem like every single thing that you guys experienced followed you around from place to place, or did each place that you already stayed at already had a history of something, or did it seem like whatever it was there like a similar theme that followed you around to each different place?
I can't say that. No, I can't say that. I can't say that at all. But I can tell you this, that the house that we lived in was built on an old Indian burial ground.
I was about to ask that.
Yes, and that's a true fact. That's a true statement. It's true. And we
was
used
there
to.
a bunch of mounds around there and stuff?
We used to dig up. We actually dug up in the wooded area of our property. In the wooded area, we were digging, and we excavated. Well, we thought. I mean, as far as we know, it could have been very well a murdered person buried. Yeah. But we found a skeleton. We found a skull in the woods. And what did we do with it? Oh, we wanted to take it down to the sky lift. The sky lift. We took down the sky lift because they had all the Indian bones. They had all the Indian preserved area up there. And we gave it to them. And they gave us, in exchange, they gave us, free access to go up to ride up the chairs.
Probably should have asked for some money.
Yeah, about to say, they gave you free access to the paranormal.
Yeah.
Right, sure. But we dug up stuff. So we dug up, believe it or not, and I've been trying to fathom. I'm trying to wrap my brain around this, and I've been trying to wrap it around since I've grown up and remember some of the stuff that we did and we found. But we actually found cannonballs, fucking round, heavy, iron ass balls. They didn't have any attachment, so they weren't something to hold something down. They had no, chain attachment to it whatsoever. We found several of those. We found an Indian artifact, and my mom took it to the art museum. They wanted her to donate it, but she wouldn't. It was a bone. It was like some type of tooth. Don't know what kind of tooth it was, but in the tooth there were little polka dots of turquoise. All right. And at the bottom of the tooth, it was like a snake because it had like a lip. It had like lips on it. Like the bone had like a crease in it. And in between the crease of the bone was another piece of turquoise, but it was a chunk of turquoise, almost like a tongue. Almost like a tongue. We dug that up in the woods. And the museum said it had to be done in trade because turquoise is not found in Missouri. So it was in trade with the Indians.
Yeah.
So like we found little glass dolls, little jointed tiny dolls. I've never seen little jointed tiny dolls with, when I mean jointed like a Barbie doll, but these are tiny little porcelain dolls. Tiny.
Really?
And they were old.
Huh.
And then the ones with
that
all
before.
just the heads and the rest is they just have the neck and the head that's all like porcelain.
Yeah.
We used to dig those up too, but without the doll bodies. They were just the heads.
Yeah.
But we found actually full jointed, even the heads to them, little tiny dolls that were porcelain jointed dolls with no clothes on.
They were under the ground. You'll dig them up, or just found them sitting there.
Dig them up. We were always digging in the dirt. We were always digging archives and stuff like that. We were always digging in the dirt.
Well, the
So
only
we
thing you
found
think of is
that.
like settlers going across that area.
Yeah, but
If
when
they
did-
had kids in a
When did jointed porcelain dolls become tiny jointed porcelain dolls?
Right. Right.
I've never even heard of that before.
I know, but porcelain is always an old thing of what.
Yeah, I guess porcelain is old, but porcelain is also
porcelain's
pretty.
old, but
You had like,
It's
you
also
know, like
pretty
the-
pretty fragile.
Usually with old dolls, you have the arms that are porcelain and the legs and the head that's porcelain. The
Yeah.
body is usually a soft mass. This was solid porcelain jointed. They were still attached to the joints and everything else. I don't know what happened to them. I don't know if mom sold them, because they were, antiques or what. I don't know what happened to them. I do not know.
Do they look like they came from like Dutch or Deutsch, like they have like clothing on them that they could like signify where they're from? Because maybe
There's no
German
clothing.
settlers
It's
passed
all-
through.
I'm saying like you're on
No clothing.
what's
No
the
clothing
wagon
whatsoever. They were
wheel
just
or
plain.
the
They
wagon
were plain.
just going across and somebody's
the-
doll
The hands.
bounces out.
The hands were etched, like however they did the porcelain. The fingers weren't separated; they were just like the carved in. You could tell that they were toes and fingers,
Yeah.
and you knew it was a face. It was a plain face, no eyes. It was just straight porcelain, but it was old porcelain. And like I said, they were jointed.
Yeah, like I just found some online, but I mean these are new. But when did these things get made? I wonder.
Look up.
Here, I'm sending you a picture of it right
porcelain
now.
doll. Look up jointed porcelain dolls from the 18th century or the 19th century. 19th century.
I mean, even then, that's really cool that they were just kind of you found stuff like that though. Even if there's an answer to it, that's really cool. So
Yeah, that's still history.
Something you just don't dig up normally.
Right? No, you don't. Like I said, and it's funny. I haven't thought about those dolls until recently.
Yeah,
Or
that's
the
insane.
cannonball, because as far as my recollection is, there was never any kind of war, any battle in Clarksville.
Right.
Battle. I mean, I know that he had the Civil War and all that, but as far as I'm aware of Clarksville history, there was never any Civil War battle there. So what would the cannonballs be doing?
I mean, the cannonballs could have been just being transported through, or someone could have had some cannonballs. I mean, I guess there's an explanation
But
for it.
up on the hill,
Yeah.
the hill.
Well, that's a
I
strategic, position to have. If it's because I've been on that hill, it does kind of overlook the
Yeah.
valley. There's like where the river sits, and you can overlook. And if there's
Because
any
it got
ships
that
coming down the
view, it got
river,
that view.
you blast their asses right there.
Yeah,
Aunt Barb, we're at the 2-hour mark, and
that's okay.
you have.
You have wonderful stories.
I would love to get you on again in the future, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I'm going to have to take notes so I can. As I think about stuff that's happened throughout,
Sure.
I will write it down so I can remember it so I can tell you better stories and more stories.
Yeah, no, 100%. I will take note where we left off at, and then I'll have you on at a future date, and maybe we can get down the streaming software a little bit better, and then that way I don't have to have my phone next to the webcam for
That's
audio. But You know, I appreciate you coming on.
Yes,
and-
thank
and
you
helping
very
us.
much for being the
You're welcome.
first guest of our first ever live stream.
Well, you were
We'll
welcome.
send you a
and thank for
trophy
asking
next
me.
week.
We'll send you miniature porcelain dolls as your gift.
Okay.
Wait,
Just don't
I
send
did
me a Ouija
Sean
board.
tell
Don't
you
send me a
about
Ouija
the,
board. They keep coming back. The Ouija board keeps coming back. So
The Ouija board's here.
Did Sean tell you about the, well, lack of a better term, monkey sounds that we recorded in Arkansas?
yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's crazy.
We'll get some
Or
audio.
the 18-inch footprint we found.
No, I'm not sold on the footprint, Barb.
I'm sold on it.
No, I'm not.
Right.
It made like I was driving and I was on the driver's side. The footprint was on the passenger side. I saw it. It made me stop.
Look, it looks like a shoe print to me. Just,
But who has an 18-inch foot?
yeah, but who has a bare foot that's shaped like a shoe? It just, I'm just not feeling it. Just not feeling
Right.
it.
So
Sean,
I'm gonna try to find those
Yes.
pictures. But there's lots more I have to tell you.
Oh,
And,
yes.
find
yeah,
out
I
from
would
Ashley.
love to hear everything.
Right. If you need to find out from Ashley if any of those things that I told you that you didn't know about, like the Bigfoot in the trash can, the ghost, holding your mom down, the time we played with the door, mom knocking on the door. I just cannot believe that your mother didn't tell you all this.
No, not that stuff. I mean, mom said a lot, but I never heard any of that. You know, some things mom didn't bring up.
Well,
Uncle.
sometimes you may forget them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Maybe
Obviously,
she didn't want you
there's
to
so
play with
many
them.
damn
Maybe she
fucking
didn't want you to
stories
play
in
with
your
them.
family. How do you keep track?
Yeah, I know, right? I know.
Right.
And some of these things Uncle Frank brought up, you know, or Gino brought up, or Tommy brought up. Sometimes mom didn't have to bring them up. Someone else would bring them up, but not everything. I hadn't heard about the getting pinned down. I didn't hear about the digging in the trash thing. I'd never heard that before.
I've been pinned down once in my dreams.
Those are some significant memories. That's why I'm
I was in jail
surprised
though, so that
he
means
didn't
totally
tell
different
you
thing.
about that. Especially with the, especially with Ronnie.
Just
Ronnie
kidding.
can tell you. You need to ask Ronnie about that time when he pulled that cover back and there was nothing underneath it.
Well, Ronnie's going to be the next guest
Yeah.
when we do another live. No, you won't.
Would you make sure? Am I still being recorded?
Yep.
Yeah, you're still on recording. Yes,
Make sure he ain't smoking or drinking when he does that.
we're
Well,
drinking.
we're drinking.
And Terry's vaping.
I
I
know,
puffed the
but,
vape once,
Yeah.
but that's about it. But yeah, we're drinking. That's what we do. We're just a
Yeah.
couple.
This channel is not professional
I'm
at all.
drinking too. I got a beer in my hand too.
Hey, that's because we're Americans.
Yes, that's right.
I'm doing
We
what
drink.
Americans love to do
Drinking.
America.
and
Right.
destroying our kidneys. That's
Yeah.
it, man.
It's livers.
And livers too. Whatever, dude. Destroying
Destroy
our
everything.
eternal organs. And Barb, I'm gonna hang up with you.
Okay.
You have a
Have a
great
good
day.
day, Barb.
All right.
I love
Nice
you.
talking to
Thank
you
you
guys.
so much for helping us out.
Yes, with our
No
first
problem.
live stream, you are a princess.
And we will
Thank you.
I will get in contact with you again for another future show if you're down.
All right. I love you, kiddo.
I love you
I know
too.
you're not a kiddo anymore, but I love you anyway.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Always.
Yeah, he's old now.
Now,
Bye-bye.
not old.
There's gray hair in his beard.
I'm not 50. I'm not old.
All right. Talk to you later.
Bye. Barb.
Bye.
Love you.
Why
Bye.
did you just wave? She can't see you.
She can't. Well, maybe she might watch back at this.
But for you three people that have lasted this entire time.
well, we got up to 8 at one point.
I know, I did see that. There was a high watermark. There was
like,
8 people.
hey, we're going to
But
8.
you three people, you are going to get in the mail a Texas lottery scratch off.
Yeah. The dollar scratch.
Yes,
off,
the dollar
'cause
scratch
We're
off.
on a
'Cause
budget here.
Hello, there's only 3 people.
We're on a budget here. Yeah.
But as I alluded to with the audio, we will be working on that after this live stream,
Yeah.
and it will go on within the next couple of days. And I am
No, after this is done.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It
After this
immediately-
live stream is done, we're going to be working on enhancing the audio. There's another thing. What the hell is that?
That was dust. That was dust.
No, it wasn't. It was this long.
Yeah, look like a feather or something.
Yes, that's the 3rd time I've seen this.
There was a lot
Dude, your
of
family's fucked.
dude. There's a lot
I
of
don't want.
there's a lot of.
Ah.
I know. I kept seeing shit flying. I was
I
like,
know that's why I kept. But every time I kept doing this, is
no, dude. But look at my top of my PS5. Okay, look at all
are
that
there
du-
feathers?
look at all that dust. But yeah,
I know it was that feather. That was a white twisty long thing.
Dude, this house gets pretty dusty, dude.
I don't know, but that looked like a.
look, see all that? That's all dust, dude.
That's
just
not
all
what
dust.
we just. That was a. But anyway, what we were saying.
It's eel.
We're going to work on some audio, and like I alluded to, there is a point to where it sounds like, I guess, like chimpanzees going nuts in the woods.
Yep, pretty loud, pretty loud. The audio that we recorded from Falk is actually pretty good.
Yeah,
Which
it's and we've only gone through one recorder so far.
we'll throw it up. We have the recorders behind us over there.
There's two more
It's flying up. It's going that way.
Yep.
It's going that way.
right behind us. Did everybody see that? If they're the three people
Oh,
that
there's
are
one
watching
there.
live, did y'all see
Oh,
that?
another one. Those are dust particles, dude. I mean, there's no fan or no wind. Well, no, because
I know, but it just
Wait.
went like this, and then it goes. Ooh.
yeah, but dude,
Did
look,
somebody type if they saw that?
No.
It went right here.
these people aren't watching this, dude. Look, dude, see, look, there's a vent right there. So it's blowing dust, and the dust curves and hits up here and then goes up. So that's just what it is. Those aren't.
I don't know, but your family's pretty fucked.
No, not really, dude. I'm fine. I turned out okay.
Okay,
I mean,
that's what you see.
no, there was a
You're
dust.
friends with me.
Yeah, but say I'm friends with you, so maybe you are the screaming banshee. But yeah, we'll get the audio up here soon enough.
Yeah, it'll be, I mean, we've really got some good stuff.
we have some good stuff. We have some good stuff.
It's
and
one of
we'll
those
get some-
things to where you've only got two options basically. It's somebody playing and recording,
which I doubt.
which I doubt.
No one
or-
knew. No one knew we were going to be there. It was an overnight, last minute thing. We didn't even decide to go to.
Yeah,
Falmouth.
way out in the middle of
We were-
nowhere.
We were here. Like let's say tonight, we were here, and then
And it
we
was
woke up.
it was during deer season.
Yep, deer season,
And
which
so
is the
there's
worst
not gonna
time to
be-
go.
And the weirdest thing is when we recorded these, what I would call like the chimp howls, it was only barely 30 minutes after nightfall.
The sun had probably just gone down.
Yeah, 30 minutes.
You would think it was like 3:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
No, it was. We had just dropped
It
the recorders
was-
off, and maybe an hour had passed, and then you hear
Yeah, it was about 2 hours. 2 hours passed.
you hear a whoop, and then you
And then
hear
you go, "Hoo, hoo, 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 hoo."
and then you hear like what screech, like you know how chimpanzees screech like that. That you hear that, but you have to kind of
And
You can
there's
hear it.
Yeah, you can
But-
hear it, but you can't smell it.
yeah,
I don't even know why I said that.
I don't know why you did either, but
Anyway,
anyway,
thank you, three people.
wait
that are
before we
still logged on
before we dial out for the night. Isn't there like you want to like end the stream with like addressing the community or something like that? You know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What I would love to say to the community is let's stop looking at everybody as competition, and let's start like praising people for what they find. They're not our competition. We're all out here looking for the exact same thing. So who cares if somebody else got some evidence that you didn't? Let's try not to bring them down. Let's try to lift everybody up. We're not here. We're all here for the same thing. We're not competition. So if somebody films something that you did not film, just don't start knocking them. We're all here for the same thing.
Mhm.
Let's be positive to one another.
Yeah,
And that's it.
there needs to be a lot of cohesion in the community
Yeah.
because
We're all again, we're here for the same thing. It doesn't matter who catches what. If a Bigfoot shows up on somebody's back porch and they spill the beans, nobody else needs to knock them for whatever they're doing.
I think a lot of times that one of the issues is like there's you this is a big community with different
Yes. And
personalities.
there is also a race to the finish line. Who's got the best evidence?
Yeah,
And a lot of people will go, no, that's not it. This is what I've got.
yeah, but sometimes that argument, like this is what I got, isn't because I think that, or it's not because I was the first to get it. It's like I think it's this,
Yeah.
and not that. And you find a lot of that. Like you remember when the GFBR, so whatever, the golf
Oh,
coast
yeah.
Bigfoot guys, and like they were pro killed and the other
Yeah.
guys were not killed, and they were arguing and fighting. Like,
Yeah.
okay, those are two ideologies that conflict headbutt a lot.
Oh yeah,
And I can understand arguing about it. But there are certain ideologies that headbutt like that shouldn't even be that that bad. Like, come
No,
on,
it's just
what the fuck?
regular channels that are doing the exact same thing and going, well, no, my evidence is better than your evidence. You don't, no, you're stupid because of this.
Or you click up and you decide to, even though like you and I might agree, but you know, we're A and B, C might agree with us, but we just don't like C for whatever reason. So we're gonna,
Yeah.
we agree with him. We'll help each other, but we're not gonna help C, even though he agrees with us. We
Yeah.
just don't get along on little things, you know.
Well, it's the same thing. It's like always, you know, it's the whole, well, I'm not going to take you where it actually happened.
Mm.
I'll take you somewhere near
Yeah.
where it I'm like,
No,
dude, we're all here for this. Like, if somebody asked us where the hell we found our footprint,
I would say
or if we recorded the videos, if somebody asked us that on, I'm like, it was right here, right here. If you can go out and put a recorder up and you can get the same thing, that's collaboration. That's
some people want to protect the spot because they want to protect the
creature.
creature
Yeah, I
or
get
whatever.
that.
They're not doing that to save face for themselves.
I can
Really
understand it
save
if, say, you're having a personal interaction,
Right.
Like if you've been there for years, like if it's somebody's, like if it's who was it? There was somebody like one of those stories I heard where like a lady said she had fed 2 generations of Bigfoot.
Yeah, I've heard that recently too. I can't remember
And
that
if
was.
there was something like that,
Yeah,
totally understandable.
yeah,
But if you're just out investigating different stuff and you find a random footprint
Yeah.
or you hear random vocalizations, there's no reason to protect that.
yeah. There's no reason.
You would want not many people to just flood it, but you can tell people like, yeah, this is where I was. Just go out there, do what we did. This is what we did. This is how we got it.
One of the guys that I've been in communication with, he has no problem taking us to the spot. He doesn't want to like. He just wants to keep it off Facebook and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
I
That's it,
understand
and I
that.
understand that too.
Yeah, you don't want to call blast everything like going,
Yeah.
I want everybody in the Bigfoot community to show up here on a Wednesday night.
and you don't want to. And you know, some people do have bad intentions as well.
Oh, yeah.
and I get that. But you know, the problem is there's a lot of headbutting going on in the community, and
Yeah,
some
and it
some of
needs
it,
to
some of
stop.
it, and some of it ain't even about the topic anymore.
No, it's about personality.
Personal issues
It's
and
about
stuff like that.
person.
It's like, dude, you know what happens in my personal life shouldn't pertain to all this other stuff, and bringing it up like that's just
Yeah, we understand
childish.
people
high school
don't
stuff.
like each other. That's just
Right.
the way it is. There's going to be
Right.
some people that just don't like each other.
Right.
I mean, I haven't met anybody that doesn't like me yet, but
Well, you're sitting right next to him. I don't like you at all. You're just here for business and get me Bud Lights when I run out.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm gonna get you a Bud Light right
Well, I'm good right now. I don't need one right now.
Oh, sorry.
I'm still sipping on this one. I chugged the other one, but
I mean, when me and
Anyway.
Sam were having a discussion outside,
oh yeah,
you thought
Sam.
you were a pretty cool guy.
Well, yeah, he was all right, I guess. He's not like my friend Terry here. Even though y'all sounded a lot alike.
Again, it's
Y'all got the
mimicking.
same alopecia thing going on in y'all's chin.
It's mimicking.
It's fine. It's yeah,
Mimicking.
mimicking. He was half mimic.
Yeah.
Anyway, I guess we'll end the stream
Yeah.
and
And
call it a
Thank you for like
night.
the 8 people that showed up.
Yes, and if you're watching later, oh Jennifer, who the hell is
Hey,
Jennifer?
who's that?
Is that your girlfriend?
Finally, after
When we're
2
about to
hours,
end the
as soon as
stream,
we stream,
we're about to
I
end the
get a
stream.
laughy face.
Wait a second, we're ending the stream, and now she wants to fucking. I bet she just tuned in.
It's ridiculous.
You know what, women, dude, women. Well, we're ending the stream now, Jennifer Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
bye. I had like something to say.
Oh,
when
I thought
ended.
I was doing like the 70s sitcom. I was